Head coach of the New York Cosmos, Hennes Weisweiler, came from Germany just a few weeks ago. Let's take a look at his starting lineup today. Hubert Birkenmeier, a German, will be the goalkeeper for New York. There's Rick Davis, the young American from California, on the defense. Number 5 is the great Carlos Alberto from Brazil, one of the world's great players. An American high schooler, Jeff Durgan, starting for the Cosmos. And Andranik Eskandarian. Vladislav Bogicevic, Bogi they call him, in the midfield, along with Franz Beckenbauer. The adjective great can be applied to him too, as it can to Johan Neeskens, the Dutch midfielder. Here is the 18-year-old sensation from South America, Romero, and Giorgio Canaglia, the great one, in the middle as forward. Angelo Di Bernardo, another American. Thus then the lineup for the New York Cosmos. Crowd continuing to whoop it up here, and the game hasn't even started yet. Let's have a look at the Washington Diplomats. Goalkeeper Bill Irwin. Bob Yorushi, a Canadian, a defender, and a good one. Don Draghi, an American from St. Louis, on the defense. He'll be in the middle, along with Nick Mijatovic, a mammoth, tough Yugoslav. Tommy O'Hara on the left. He's small and he overlaps and he's fast. Carmine Marc Antonio in the midfield, along with Wim Janssen, a Dutchman, acquired this year. A great player. The great Johan Cruyff. Sorry to keep using the adjective great, but it seems to apply. Joe Horvat, a Hungarian, in midfield, and Sonny Askew from Baltimore, Maryland, will be a forward along with the scoring star Alan Green. These then are the starting lineups for the two teams. And that would be Bugs Bunny himself, it appears, along with the rest of the fans, waiting for the kickoff. We'll have it in a minute.
42!
Oh, what a call!
Bunker, tomorrow at 6:30.
The bases are loaded with winning car deals during the 19 All-Star Auto Event of the 80s, going on now at participating dealers across the Tri-County area. Hey!
Gordon Bradley, head coach of the Washington Diplomats, a man on the spot right now. His team is supposed to be better than their 3-6 record shows. Well, they'll try to improve that today. The largest crowd they've ever had here in Washington was 35,620 against the Cosmos 5 years ago. There was the referee, Cabrigian, moving out into the playing field. They'll go well over that record crowd today. As we said, they tell us at least 45,000, possibly 50. We'll get the official attendance figure sometime in the second half. It's a lot of people. There is Giorgio Canaglia, all-time leading goal scorer in the North American Soccer League. 9 goals so far this year. A great one. A star in his native Italy before coming to the United States. One of the best-known players in the world. There's Johan Neeskens. Paul, as I say, it's hard to avoid the adjective great when you're looking at the ball players New York has.
Well, there are a lot of great players on here. I mean, remember, we've got 3 World Cup team captains on this field, 2 of whom have actually handled and won the World Cup in Carlos Alberto and Beckenbauer, and Cruyff, who was the captain of the Dutch team that lost in '74.
Johan Cruyff quickly getting the game underway with a pass to Sonny Askew down the right side. The young boy from Baltimore takes a shot, batted away by Birkenmeier. And the Cosmos take over.
Well, you have to say something about set plays. I'm sure that was a set play.
Yep.
Straight from the kickoff, because Sonny Askew found a tremendous lot of room there, and he got up a good shot that Birkenmeier couldn't save, just punched it out.
Okay, and now the Cosmos in blue on the attack. Rick Davis, the young American, with the ball, number 17 to Neeskens, number 13 there. Back out to Bogicevic. He's the playmaker, number 8. Moving it into young Romero, the teenager from Paraguay. Can he go or not? Canaglia now with the ball. Look out. Knocked away by Bob Yorushi very nicely. There he is, number 2 for Washington. Canaglia again getting the ball. They better look out. Cosmos getting deep into scoring territory very early in the game.
Good example there of Romero's ability to hang on to the ball. He's a slight-looking, he looks like a little schoolboy, and his legs don't look that big, but he's mighty difficult to get off the ball once he's got it.
He's just 19 years old, 5 feet 7, 145 pounds. Is Julio Cesar Romero. Little Caesar, we might call him, huh? Now we'll see if the Diplomats can set something up. Their second possession. Wim Janssen, number 12 there with the ball. Curly-haired, blonde Dutchman. We get to Yorushi, overlapping from the defense. Janssen out to Horvat, the long-haired Hungarian. Going for Cruyff. Cruyff keeping the ball inbounds. Still in play. Tommy O'Hara, the fullback, overlapping. Look at Cruyff go all by himself.
A marvelous example of the sort of ball control you can expect from Cruyff. A very long ball from Horvat, which looked as though it was going to go out. Cruyff, watching over his shoulder, saw it coming, kept it in play, and has now won a corner.
you're new to the game of soccer, the defensive team knocked it over the end line. Therefore, the offensive team gets a corner kick. That'll be taken by Joe Horvath. He's left-footed. He can curl that ball in towards the goal. But he puts it right out into the center, knocked away by Beckenbauer. But here comes the Diplomats again. Janssen deflected off Neeskens.
Neeskens never gets out of the way of anything. We've talked about him at the head of the game. That's a typical example of the way he just likes to get in front of everything.
You think we're going to see a little action here today?
I think we are. We just saw a very good example of why Jeff Durgan is playing at centre half and not Wim Rysbergen. Classic piece of heading.
All right, here come the dips again. But Carlos Alberto knocks it aside to Beckenbauer, who's got a much shorter haircut. Hardly recognize him out there today. He normally has a big shock of brown, curly hair. Not today. Quinalha, what's he doing way back here? You'll seldom see him on the other side of the field. All by himself this time, however. And it's Don Draghi, the American, getting it back to his goalie, Bill Irwin. With the throw out. Washington in the white, on the move, going from right to left. The early minutes of the North American Soccer League game before a tremendous crowd here in Washington between the Washington Diplomats and the New York Cosmos. It's like offside.
Well, it's a very good run from Yarushi there when the ball was finally pushed through there. The player was judged offside. Must have been a close call, though. I don't think there could have been more than a foot or two in that.
Again, offside means that at the time the ball was passed to you, you did not have two defenders, that can include the goalie, between you and the goal line. It's a very simple rule. Okay, now Ricky Davis of 17 getting it back to Escandaria, number 2. Now Beckenbauer in the midfield. Getting it down towards Di Bernardo. Di Bernardo, the American, losing it to Yarushi. Yarushi very much on the ball so far today. Canadian defender. Whoa, Alan Green hit from behind, but no call.
No call.
What did you think about that?
Well, I didn't think it was a good decision. I think it should have been called a foul. It was clearly decked, and decked hard by Durgan.
Certainly looked like it should have been a free kick for the Washington Diplomats. That's not a penalty kick. To get a penalty kick, the foul must take place inside the large penalty area box. Escandarian now to Ricky Davis. Davis playing at fullback this year. He was a midfielder last year, but because of the abundance of talent in midfield for the Cosmos, let's have another look at this thing here.
Well, there's Callum Green with the ball under control, and you can see that contact is made with ball and man at just about the same time. The referee's judgment is that if the ball is played, then it wasn't a foul. I don't think I agree with him on that.
Here comes Horvath, getting it down to Alan Green, and looks like another offside call. Boy, that was a close one too.
I'm inclined to think that wasn't that close. I'm inclined to think that Green was onside and that was simply a bad call.
I was too.
Carlos Alberto on the far side of the field was racing back to cover that. And I'm sure he got ahead of that play.
We'll try to have another look. Here it comes again.
Now, see, Carlos Alberto, he is clearly onside.
Certainly onside.
Carlos Alberto at the top of your screen there was nearer to the goalkeeper than the player who got the ball.
And, of course, the goalie was there. So that's the two players that you need between you and the goal line.
And I'm afraid that is a problem in this game of soccer. It seems to me many linesmen look for offside calls instead of looking for onside calls. And I think that's rather destructive to the flow of the game.
All right, here come the Cosmos again. Di Bernardo coming from the left side to the right side. Taking a shot at Irwin.
Good example of how useful height is in a goalkeeper. Fine on the high shots, not so good on the low ones.
Fine interception by Neeskens, getting it to little Romero, the teenager from Paraguay. Saw him keep possession of that ball very nicely. Bogey now. Bogey has scored a couple of goals recently. Seldom does that. He was trying for Quinalha, but he didn't get it. Well, when you consider that the official temperature is 85 degrees, the temperature on the field is 105 degrees,
and
the humidity is 61%, the pace of this game is remarkable.
Well, once again, we've seen Durgan knocking Green down. This time, the call does go in favor of the Diplomats.
Escandarian, by the way, number 2, is playing man-for-man on Johan Cruyff right now. There's Alan Green again. Shot across the goal mouth.
It seems to me that ball did not go out. That'll be a throw-in. In fact, it hit the corner flag, and it's still in play. It never went out at all.
It's not out of bounds or into touch until the whole ball goes over the entire line. So by hitting the stick on the corner there, it stayed in bounds. Referee wearing a red shirt today because of the fact that the Cosmos are in navy blue. Normally the referee in soccer is dressed in black.
Shall I go into my scientific theory about dark uniforms being too hot? Or?
Well, I've always heard that since I was a little boy, that dark colors absorb the heat and make you feel hotter, and white, as the Diplomats are wearing, makes you feel cool. We'll find out later in the day. Still scoreless in the early going. 37 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half. There's been a lot of action. Cosmos now trying to gain clear possession, and they do. DiBernardo going down.
DiBernardo brought down
On a scale of 10 for acting, I would give that about an 8.
Well, I think it's a rather clumsy tackle there.
And yet the call was made.
Yeah, well, I don't see how he could have avoided falling over. Her body was sort of suddenly in front of him. He was going to have to go a prodigious leap to get around that.
Escandaria now, number 2, with the ball for New York. Carlos Alberto moved it over to Beckenbauer. Watch the moves on this man as he threaded a beautiful pass there, didn't he?
Very well cut out. Yeah, very well read, which is a soccer term meaning anticipated, by Draghi, and beautifully cut out.
Crowd continuing to come in, by the way. It's going to be very near capacity, and this stadium holds 53,000 people. There's never been anything like it for soccer in Washington. Here comes Carlos Alberto now, the great Brazilian player. A nice lead pass by Canaya, couldn't quite get through 2 defenders. Let's take a break. There's no score. And live in Washington, a packed stadium here at RFK for the Diplomats and the Cosmos. Joe Horvath with a corner kick for Washington. Curls it or smashes it towards the center, really, all the way across, and there's a call, a foul in the penalty area against Washington. Well, had that been against the Cosmos, it would have resulted in a penalty kick.
I'm laughing because the foul was on. In other words, the foul was committed against Carlos Alberto, who really did a con job on that, because I don't think he was touched much on that at all. But he flailed his arms and went down. And I think it was Janssen who the foul was called on, and he looked at the referee as much as say, how can you fall for that?
35 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first half. No score on a hot, humid day. Clear skies, though. The kind of summer afternoon they expect in Washington, D.C. Here comes Bogey now, the Yugoslav, with a quick long pass down toward Ricky Davis. The fullback overlapping.
Well, Ricky Davis, in fact, of course, was on the list, and we had him on the lineup as a fullback, but he's certainly not playing as a fullback. He's playing more as a midfielder, and he's going, I mean, he's over on the left now, where one might have thought he would be. That, in fact, is because Cruyff has moved over to the left, in other words, to the right of the Cosmos defense. Now, that seems to me to be something right at the heart of the discrepancy or the trouble between Cruyff and his coach, Gordon Bradley, as to where Cruyff should play. And my interpretation is that Bradley does not want him playing on the left, and yet here he is on the left.
Well, single-minded man. And offside ball, I believe. It's going to be a direct kick for the Cosmos. Dangerous playing against Washington. Now they say indirect kick. There it is. Must touch another player, in other words, before it would go into the goal. Were it going into the goal. Bogey now with the ball. Back out to Ricky Davis. And then steal for the Washington Diplomats by Carmine Mark Antonio.
Ricky Davis really gave that ball away, but he was so quick to recover it, he got it back.
Now, again the battle for the ball. This time goes to Washington. Joe Horvath down the middle this time with a pass on the left side that really was to no one. Much too far ahead of fullback Tommy O'Hara there. A lot of action last night. Fort Lauderdale beat Portland. We'll see Fort Lauderdale next week. They're in first place in their division. Tampa Bay also won. That's the team Fort Lauderdale will play on television next week. They're in second place in the division. Memphis shut out Atlanta in Atlanta, 3-0 there. And Vancouver beat Detroit before a good crowd of about 17,000. Let's watch the action now as Janssen had the ball there. Cosmos taking over again. Take a look at the other scores as the ball comes down. Minnesota beat Houston in a shootout. Minnesota finally winning a shootout. They've had tough luck in that department this year. Tough luck in general, but they're starting to move up. Seattle 5-1, and Roger Davies had 4 goals in that game and 1 assist. Chicago Sting, as you saw, still going strong, 2-1 over Los Angeles at Los Angeles. Now, back to this ball game, which is really shaping up. 32 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the first half as Horvath moves down the left side. Slowing it down, setting it up, and perhaps getting a breath in the heat. Now down to Alan Green. All by himself for the moment. You got anybody to move it? So takes a quick shot. Hit the side of the goal.
Well, A marvelous example of how quickly Alan Green gets off his shot. I'm surprised to find him out there on the left unmarked. He got this ball in a lot of space. He takes on Carlos Alberto, moves the ball inside, and then suddenly with a very, very short back left whack through Carlos Alberto's legs, and you can see that wasn't far off that near post.
Now Johan Cruyff with the ball for Washington. 2 men on him, and down he goes in the penalty area.
There's a call, but it'll be indirect, I think. Obstruction, probably.
Indirect kick, he's calling. How can it be an indirect kick?
Well, he's
in the penalty area.
He's calling obstruction, which is not a major foul, so it's an indirect kick in the...
one of the minor fouls. Certainly, he could have called it either way, but it'll be a kick very close to the goal. Indirect kick, again, means that he cannot kick it directly into the goal mouth unless it hits another player. That could be a defensive player as well as an offensive.
It could be a simple deflection, as long as it touches somebody else.
The wall being set up by the Cosmos. No score in the game.
We'll see who's over the ball. Cruyff is over the ball. Behind him are Horvath and Green. This is Green running over it.
A little set play and a kick by Horvath right into the wall. Yarushi, the kick right at the goalkeeper. The score, 0-0 in Washington. We return live to RFK Stadium. Jim McKay with Paul Gardner in the booth as the Cosmos in the blue shirts are on the attack. No score in the game. Johan Neeskens, number 13, getting it to Romero, the new teenage star. Beckenbauer, the veteran from Germany, going for Kanaya, but it's kicked away by Janssen, the Dutchman on the defense for Washington.
Washington have almost everybody except Johan Cruyff back almost in their own penalty area.
Lofted pass and a header by Kanaya. Well, many people think he's not too strong in the heading department, and yet he's had several goals from the head this year.
He's not a classic header of the ball, and he's not a player you want to play the ball up to so that he can use his head. But when the opportunity presents itself, he's a very sharp header of the ball. He can get a lot of power on the ball. This is a perfect example of exactly what I'm not talking about, in fact. I think tactically, if Washington are making a mistake up to now, it seems to me that they're not marking Romero tightly enough. Romero's getting a lot of room, and I don't think he's the sort of player that you can allow to roam around for too long with that sort of space.
All right, down towards Johan Cruyff. Cruyff being marked very closely by Eskandarian, and it's going to be a free kick.
And again, that'll be just outside the area, although I think the replay might show that pushing started inside the area.
Now, this will be a direct kick. That means that he can kick it directly into the goal mouth for a goal without touching anybody. Horvath taking it. He has a powerful left-footed shot. A small wall against him with just 2 players. Into the middle and banged away by Bogey.
That's one way of taking those free kicks, is simply to power it in the middle as hard as you can, hoping for some sort of defensive mistake.
Shot by Yarushi goes wide. Goal kick for New York. They'll put it in play, and we'll be right back. Still no score in Washington. The Diplomats against the New York Cosmos. 28 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first half. Carlos Alberto with the ball for the dark uniformed Cosmos. Not the champions. He gets so used to referring to them as champions, but it's not the case this year. Last year they lost their crown to the Vancouver Whitecaps. Big crowd, hot day, RFK Stadium. Things slowing down just for the moment, but there's been very little of that so far. ABC's Wide World of Sports coming up after the soccer this afternoon on ABC. A USAC dirt car race. That should really be something. Lots of action in those from DuPont, Illinois. Something you've seen before and like the Chinese acrobats of Taiwan. And a review of George Willig's rock climb of just yesterday. It was live on Wide World. Now back to the soccer. Still no score, of course. Washington in the white, coming from right to left.
I think there's one thing that's noticeable. I mentioned just now the amount of room Romero is getting for the Cosmos. I might also mention the amount, well, I won't.
Janssen getting it into the middle, headed away by Alberto.
It is amazing how often he's in the right place at the right time. That did not look like a particularly good header to me. It looked like he got it on top of his head, but it was enough to clear the danger. I mentioned Horvath. Sorry, Jim, how much space he is getting in return, perhaps, for the Diplomats.
I'll tell you, Jeff Durgan is all over Alan Green. Washington still has the ball. Right. Toward the middle, heels it to O'Hara. O'Hara into the middle. Good play here. That That was for Horvath, but it didn't quite get there.
Tipped away by Neeskens. Just got his foot in there to knock the ball away.
Hello, Harris. Evaded by young Romero. Here he comes by himself again. Tried to pass it to himself, I think, but
he's claiming an obstruction call against Draghi there, which I think he might have got, actually, but the referee waved it away and said no. He pushed the ball past Draghi and then tried to ram around the other side, but Draghi just didn't move, so Romero ran into him.
Here comes Big Horvath, the Hungarian, losing it to Neeskens.
Being tripped, I would have thought, by Romero. And no, says the referee.
Says play on, chaps. Beckenbauer now, with his new short haircut, number 6. Former German World Cup star. There was some rumor about him going back to Germany at the end of this season, but lately we hear, no, he's going to be back in New York for a couple more years.
It's a strange situation, that, because it was announced in the press in New York that he would sign for New York, and then the following week, Hamburg, the club he's alleged to be going to in Germany, held a press conference announcing that he'd be coming to them.
So, more news later on that. Okay, New York on the attack. Nobody has been able to score. There are 25 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. A hot, broiling sun. Again, the temperature on the field, from the thermometer down there, 105 degrees. 85 the official temperature. That's 61% humidity.
There's a lot of running being done by that man on the screen there, Ricky Davis, and the man he's supposed to be marking, Sonny Askew.
Quickly now to Vern Lundquist with Coach Gordon Bradley.
Thank you, Jim. Gordon, the pace of the game has been really unbelievable in this heat. It really has, Vern. I don't think the players can keep it up for 90 minutes. I don't think it's an 11-man team today. It's going to be a 16-man squad, I think, for both teams. It's 95-degree heat and humidity. They cannot go with this tempo.
Excuse me. Here comes Alan Green all by himself. He was wide open for a moment, but Neeskens got to him right there.
He was wide open because he tricked Durgan. He sort of blew past Durgan as though he wasn't there, and it was Neeskens who came over to save the day for the Cosmos.
Okay, this is Mark Antonio moving out to the middle to Wim Janssen, and nothing much there. Next time we take a break, by the way, we would alert our stations. It's going to be a station break, so you get to do some business of your own. Here comes Cosmos in the person of Ricky Davis. Coming down the left side as he does. He's got DiBernardo ahead of him, forward on the left side. Canaglia plays in the middle, of course, number 9, and Romero, number 7, plays on the right. Normally, in soccer, there's always improvising going around.
Yeah, it's very difficult to try and imagine that every time you look at the field, you're going to see these players in sort of set positions. They're certainly not going to be there.
Here comes Price. Heeling it back again to Janssen. He's got a shot over the top of the goal. NASL Soccer, New York and Washington will continue after this message from one of our sponsors and station identification. Perhaps you've just joined us. If so, we're live from RFK Stadium in Washington. A crowd of maybe 50,000 people, largest in soccer history in this city, have gathered to watch the hometown Diplomats play the New York Cosmos. Washington in the white on the attack. It's headed over the end line by Bogicevic. That'll be a corner kick for Washington. No score in the game. 22 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the first half, but the action has been non-stop and tremendous.
I saw an example there of the will of these teams, because the man who broke all the way down on the right wing and put that ball across was Milatovic, who's a central defender, and the man who headed it out for a corner was Bogicevic, who's not normally noted for his defensive capabilities.
Okay, here's Horvath with the corner kick. Powerful left foot shot. That's headed towards the goal. It's in! Johan Cruyff has scored his first goal of 1980, and the Diplomats are out in front.
Well, that was an incredible header from Cruyff, because when he went up for that ball, I could see he was going to get it, but he didn't cock his body at all. He didn't seem to hit it hard. They called something.
That assures us of one tremendous afternoon coming up, I'll guarantee you, because the Cosmos don't lie down. Here's this set play, I think.
Well, we'll take a look at the corner now. Cruyff goes up and meets it beautifully. Yes, there is a player standing right in front of Birkenmeier, and presumably blocking his sight there, although, of course, there's no such call as blocking the sight. The call would be offside.
They have now called it back. They called it offside.
It's Alan Green standing there. Now you'll see the corner comes over, the goalkeeper goes out. Alan Green is the only player in front of the goalkeeper there, and he's presumably blocking his side, and he's also offside. The call, of course, is offside against Alan Green.
And that was a late offside call, I'll tell you.
Well, there's an argument going on there between Torres Kubica and Johan Cruyff. Now, Johan Cruyff is known for his, I would call them disputes. Cruyff calls them discussions with the referee. He says he tries to help the referee.
All right, here come the Cosmos. It's a scoreless game again. They have to take it all back because after that goal, many seconds after the goal, was the offside call.
Yeah, I think it was a good call, though. And looking at the replay, you can see Green is offside, and he is gaining advantage from being in that position, and that's what the call is all about.
Okay, here come the Cosmos in their navy blue and gold. Real fights for the ball going on out here. Here comes Washington again, and Cruyff. Oh, that Dutch temper is flaring right now, you can be sure. Look at him go, all by himself. Over to Sonny Askew now, the young Baltimorean, who kicks it off a Cosmo, so it'll be another corner kick for the Diplomats.
Good piece of play from Cruyff, working the ball through the middle, getting it out to the right wing, but not too good a center attempt from Sonny Askew.
Okay, it'll be Joe Horvath again with the corner kick. Now he's left-footed basically.
Yeah, he'll be a left-footed kick and it'll swerve in towards the goalkeeper.
And so it did. Again over the end line, it'll be another corner kick. That was Eskandarian who knocked it over for New York. No score. Once again, the goal did not count. But it was a beauty just the same.
Well, it was a remarkable header.
Okay, across towards Janssen. Don Draghi, excuse me, was the man who headed it over the end line. It'll be a goal kick for New York. No score here.
Please, Katie, you can...
We're back, and that's Horvath with the ball for Washington. Down he goes in the penalty area, and he's mad because they didn't call it. However,
another great bit of dribbling from Horvath, and as I say, he is finding a lot of room and getting a lot of space. They're not picking him up. They're allowing him to come through on attack.
Here's a good look at the ball control of young Romero. Whoops, didn't control it very well that time. He was going for Ricky Davis, and just as he passed the ball, Davis moved. One of those things. No score in the game. Now we get the official ruling. It was not offside to cancel the goal, but obstruction of goalie Birkenmeyer by Alan Green.
It's a little difficult to know exactly why that call would be made. I think I don't understand that call, to be quite honest, Jim, what obstruction means in a case like that. Because neither of them had the ball.
And the ball was not passed to Green.
And the player is clearly offside.
Yep.
And that seems to me to be the call.
However, obstruction is the official ruling, and here comes New York again. No score, 18 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half. Sonny Askew going for it, and it goes off into touch, is the correct terminology. Out of bounds in the United States normally. There's Coach Weisweiler, New York, recently of FC Cologne, Germany. That means football club.
Well, there's an example of what I say when Neeskens frightens me. I don't think that was the ball he should have gone for, but he stretched for it, and Milatovic had to sort of do a high hurdling act to get out of the way of those scything legs.
This is an amazing turnout here this afternoon when you consider that there's a big golf tournament. The PGA Tour golf tournament is being played at Congressional Country Club just outside Washington, and there are probably 2 or 3 times as many people here as there are at the golf tournament. Alan Green now with the ball for Washington. Carmine Marcantonio back to Robert Yarushi. Sonny Askew now, curly-haired kid from Baltimore. Now down to Janssen. Janssen's been all over the field today, hasn't he? Normally he's a somewhat defensive midfielder. Not so today. We'll be right back. Ball by himself. Cruyff all by himself. And a tremendous play in the goal mouth by Jeff Durgan, number 25, the young teenager on the New York Cosmos. It looked like Cruyff had them all beat, and suddenly there came Durgan. What a play.
A marvelous play from Cruyff. Well, I would have thought on this pass, you'll see Cruyff when he gets the ball, he puts his foot way up in the air, and I'm a little surprised here. Now that foot is way up, and you can see there's a foul, in fact, on the play. Cruyff passed the goalkeeper, Durgan doing the intelligent thing, and he hits the post, in fact, as he slides in there.
And now Cruyff has begun to hobble. He may have hurt himself on that play. Horvath with the corner kick for Washington. Gee, that kid really was in the right place.
Cruyff is in fact down in the penalty area.
Cruyff is down on the field. It looks like that right knee is giving him a problem. No score in the game here in Washington. We'll be right back. is Johan Cruyff on his feet again. His knee is bothering him, but looks like he's going to stay in the ballgame. We certainly expect that. Here's another look at the solo run by the great Cruyff.
Birkenmeier goes, tries to play with his hands and his feet. Cruyff is past him. That ball is going in. You see Durgan sliding in to kick it away.
Now we're back to the live action. Nobody in control at the moment. Ricky Davis, though, moving it to Naskins, and now the Cosmos. Beckenbauer. Sonny Askew after it for Washington, and he kicks it back to the goalie. No score in the game. 15 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. RFK Stadium in Washington.
Well, you have to say, so far, Jim, the best scoring opportunities have certainly fallen to Washington. They had one goal called back, and they've had a very, very close call there with that ball being kicked off the line.
I thought you'd be interested to know, Paul, that having seen an offside call on that goal and then being told it was obstruction, we now hear officially again from the referee that it's offside. Okay.
I suppose it's always nice to be right.
What we're discussing, if you were not with us earlier, was what appeared to be the first goal of the game by Johan Cruyff on a header from a corner kick from Joe Horvat. But it was nullified. You'll see that play at halftime, by the way. We show you the highlights of the first half. Ricky Davis now from California, getting into DiBernardo. DiBernardo played his college ball at Indiana, was the player of the year collegiately a couple years ago, got the Herman Trophy. And now playing as a regular today, at least, for the New York Cosmos. Acquired from Los Angeles over the winter. Eskandarian and Cruyff shaking hands.
Yeah, they're going to have a tangle all afternoon, no doubt, and at the moment it's all very good-natured. We'll see if it stays that way for the rest of the afternoon.
Here we have at halftime, more inside soccer with Pele himself, and up close and personal with Bob Yarushi, who's been playing a good game for Washington. There's Cruyff with the ball, heeling it to poor Askew, not quite. But that was typical Cruyff
yes,
play.
he took the unexpected play, exactly. He sees those things so quickly. The defenders, of course, are looking for him to play it the way he's facing it, and he flicks it behind him.
Yet another corner kick for Washington. They've had a lot of them today. This time Askew with the right foot. Went right at Cosmo defender. Here's another kick by Sonny, but there's nobody over here.
I'm afraid Sonny's got to get his act together in putting those balls across, because some of them he's hitting too low and the defenders are cutting them out. That one was hit much too far, and there was nobody over this side, and never was even when he started to kick it, receive it.
Goal kick for New York. Sonny is playing today because a great new young player, a Spaniard named Lozano, is not playing for Washington. Unfortunately, he got a red card in their last game against Fort Lauderdale, and he cannot play today. That's the league rule. You're out of the next game.
Red card being, these are two cards the referee carries in his pockets. One's yellow, which he just waves it in the air. That means the player's been cautioned. He waves the red card, the player is off the field. Now that's what happened to Lozano, and he is a good player. I've seen him.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry we can't see him this afternoon.
It was against Atlanta, by the way. Here's Mark Antonio with the ball for Washington. He's got Green in the middle, but he's also got Carlos Alberto in front of him, and that took care of that.
Somehow or other, it's as though Carlos Alberto has a magnetic attraction for that ball, because really there was a lot of space for Mark Antonio to play that ball, and yet it goes straight to Carlos Alberto.
Right, has the ball. Went for Green. He zigged when he should have zagged. Alan Green, 5 feet 8 inches tall, he claims. Certainly no more than that. And now the Cosmos, Johan Naskins, the indefatigable one, to young Romero. Romero at age 19, also indefatigable, as 19-year-old should be. Throw in for Washington. Tommy O'Hara throwing it into Bob Yarushi. There is number 2. He'll be meeting at halftime. Canadian, very personable young man and a good player.
A former Cosmos player, of course, who was on their championship team 2 years ago.
Okay, Horvat getting it down to Tommy O'Hara, the little fullback who likes to overlap. Into the middle to Green. A good pass to Green. He's still got a chance. No.
Oh, well, now, wait a minute. A penalty kick.
I think we're going to have a penalty kick for Washington. Yes, that's the ruling. When a serious foul takes place inside the penalty area, a penalty kick is awarded, and that's what it's going to be.
Let's see what we get here. This pass coming in, a beautiful pass into Green. We'll see Green go for the ball here. He's well inside Durgan. Durgan tries to get it away. He doesn't. Green follows it up. Birkenmeier comes out, and you'll see he trips Green there, so that is a penalty kick. I like the way the referee played that. He hesitated for a moment while he thought about it, then pointed to the spot. No doubt about it, a penalty kick.
All right, now the goalie cannot move his feet until the ball has been struck, until it has been kicked. That is the rule. Normally, they cheat a little bit on it. But
they cheat a little bit in the hope that the referee won't see it. But, of course, if they save it, the best that can happen is that they have to retake it. That's all. If it's scored, of course, the referee's not going to make the kicker take it again.
All right, here is Yarushi to take the penalty kick. Now, these are successful about 80% of the time.
I would think at least that.
It's a goal, and Washington does take the lead by a score of 1-0. Robert Yarushi, the man of the moment for the Diplomats. Bob Yarushi, 25 years old, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, from Canada. Has played on 3 championship teams, Toronto and New York twice.
Well,
there it is.
You see Berkemeier diving to his own right, and the ball goes to his left. This is what it looks like to Berkemeier. He's got to guess, right? So as Yarushi starts to run up to the ball, Berkemeier's thinking, which way is it going to go? And he guesses that it's going to go to the right. Well, as it happens, he guessed wrong, and it went to the left.
Just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half.
There goes Berkemeier to his right, and the ball really very, very beautifully struck by Yarushi.
Okay, there is Bob. 1-0 Washington. And here come the Cosmos. Carlos Alberto. They're trailing at halftime. There'll be a good deal of conversation from Coach Weisweiler in the locker room.
Start speculating about substitutions too, I think.
Yep.
Because I think there are bound to be substitutions this afternoon.
There is Coach Weisweiler on the left with the assistant coach Terry Garbutt, who played for the Cosmos up until last year. Okay, Fife kicks it down the middle. Like he just sort of wanted to have a moment to sort things out.
I think he was expecting Alan Green, who was out on the right there, to be cutting inside to pick up that ball. And there was an awful lot of space there, Jim, for Green to run into, but Green just didn't move.
All right, Naskins now getting it into the middle, and the referee obstructing bogey. No call. Beckenbauer with a nice little chip shot, headed away nicely by Mijatovic. Boy, he's a big, hard, tough man. Nicky Mijatovic, but a clean player. Here goes Alan Green, but...
Well, again, I think what we're seeing here is that Alan Green is really taking advantage of the inexperience of Jeff Durgan. Jeff Durgan, good as he is for such a younger player, is having a bit of a handful with Green this afternoon. Green caught him again there, got past him, was not called offside, but Berkemeier was out quickly.
Romero, right at Mijatovic, who kicks it high and out to the chest of Ricky Davis. A nice chest trap by Davis there. Chest trap again by Di Bernardo. Angelo Di Bernardo. He was a campus hero at Indiana University. Okay, here it comes down the right side to Sonny Askew. And not far from his Baltimore home, he gets it in towards Green. Very close that time.
And again, Green really cutting inside Durgan and getting to the ball first. This is going to cause a lot of problems for the Cosmos for the afternoon's out, unless they can stop Green on those quick little runs where he gets to the ball before Durgan.
Alan Green, 26 years old now. Comes from England, but loves it over here in the States. He said it many times. George Canai picked away by Yarushi, who's really playing a fine first half. Aside from scoring the goal, the only goal of the game so far. Here's Big Horvath. Horvath, 6'2". Back to Horvath again. The Hungarian moves towards the middle. He's got Green. Here's Green. And it's offside.
Well, this time again, Green getting away from Durgan, but breaking a little too early and being called offside. But again, it's dangerous.
So that one was a very obvious and correct call.
Right. Wrong. I want natural.
6 minutes, 45 seconds left in the first half. The Washington Diplomats lead Giorgio Canaglia here and the New York Cosmos by a score of 1-0. Johan Fife is definitely limping out there, Paul, I think.
Yeah, he's not... He's also playing out on the left wing, which, as I mentioned before, is not, from Coach Bradley's point of view, is not his preferred position. But maybe, if he is suffering, that's where he's decided to move himself to get out of the action again.
Many people think the problem with the Diplomats so far this year with a 3-6 record is the disagreement between the coach and Fife, the superstar.
That certainly hasn't helped.
Often happens. Tommy O'Hara now with the ball. To Horvath, now Fife. And it's going to be...
Naskins with one of his handball plays.
Yep. You know, he had one of those and he got away with it last Monday in the...
in the Transatlantic Challenge Cup game,
right.
Exactly. Bitterly contested by the Vancouver players. Our replays show that they were right. It was a handball.
Okay, free kick now, and Horvath will be taking it. Gets it into the middle. A header. Knocked it away, headed away by the Cosmos. Nice little touch by Beckenbauer to Romero.
Romero at his most
Going
dangerous.
for Canaglia. Canaglia by himself will have to do it all by himself if he's going to do it. He's got a shot here. He's got a shot now. And a good save by Irwin. Mijatovic knocks it away, and the Washington crowd loves it.
Oh, an excellent counterattack. A quick break by the Cosmos. Started by Romero, who...
And the Cosmos on the attack again. DiBernardo. Across the field to Johan Naismith. Cheering sounds like a college football game. Listen to him. Charge. Into the middle towards Canaglia. Kicked away. And now Kreif with Eskandarian, marking him very closely.
This was Canaglia after he'd received that long pass from Romero on his own, going around the fullback. A shot saved with his feet by Bill Irwin.
I thought that was going to be a goal, to tell you the truth. Here comes Kreif again, injured. It's his right knee, we believe. Getting it over to Tommy O'Hara. He appeared to be out of bounds. Remember, in soccer, the whole ball must be over the whole line. Here comes Horvath. Horvath by himself. Eskandarian, however, moved on him quickly. And I think we'll have a corner kick, another one for Washington. In another NASL game this afternoon, Philadelphia leads New England 3-1 in the first half. Lots of goals there. 7 corner kicks for Washington so far, and none for the Cosmos, interestingly, Paul.
Oh, well, it's certainly been right to left traffic, hasn't it, so much?
Yep.
But again, Horvath breaking completely free in the area. I think it may be Bogicevic who's supposed to be picking him up, but he's doing a rotten job if it is.
Another corner kick by Joe Horvath. And the shot by Janssen, kicked away by Carlos Roberto. O'Hara gets in the middle to Alan Green. Green goes down, but there's no whistle.
Alan Green tackled from behind by Ricky Davis and left lying on the ground.
There's Canaglia by himself, almost a repeat of the last time, the fast break by New York, twice in a row. Giorgio now looking for Romero, and here is Little Caesar, Julio Cesar Romero, 19 years old. And over the goal. It'll be a goal kick for the Washington Diplomats. They lead 1-0 late in the first half. Well, there's Johan Kreif, who has just been given a yellow card by the referee for what is euphemistically termed dissent. In other words, mouthing off at the ref. Another yellow card, and he would be out of the game. 2 yellows is equivalent to 1 red card. A red card is automatic expulsion. Here comes DiBernardo for New York. They trail 1-0. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first half. Into the middle of Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer still with the ball. He's still got possession. That's his specialty. Eskandarian. Into Bogey trying for Canaglia. Canaglia loses it. Mijatovic blocking Canaglia very well most of the time. There's Kreif. Deciding
with the discretion, the better part of valor, playing it back to the goalkeeper. Incidentally, Cruyff, throughout his career, has collected so many yellow cards because of this. It is dissent. He argues with the referee. He says, you remember what he says? I tried to help the referees. Now,
yeah, that's right.
I can't imagine anything more designed to antagonize a referee than trying to be helped here. I'm looking at statistics here. In 4 seasons with Barcelona, he got 28 yellow cards.
Here comes Sonny Askew now for Washington. Number 17. His team leading 1-0. A nice move by Sonny. Down he goes.
That was a rather dangerous foul by Ricky Davis. Sonny Askew played the ball past him. Davis's tackle was really very late there.
Looks like he'll have a direct kick, meaning once again that he can go direct for the goal. Sonny tying his shoe with 1 minute 54 seconds left to play.
And I see they're not going to let Sonny Askew take this. Janssen will take it. Sonny Askew's centering from that wing has not been good in this game so far.
Also using up time with this moving back and forth. They'd like to get the last shot, obviously, in the first half. Here's the center over, very close to Mark Antonio and his head, but not quite.
Birkenmeier did a good job on saving that. And a dangerous tackle from Cruyff on Eskandarian. Now, there's a little bit of his own back there. He's been receiving some physical attention from Eskandarian.
Washington has had 9 shots on goal. New York's had just 3 so far. Let's have another look at the foul.
Eskandarian going for the ball. Cruyff behind him. Cruyff taking Eskandarian's legs out from underneath him. And
now Cruyff trying to take the ball and almost did it. His hand on his right thigh. He's hurting. He's still talking to the ref, by the way, who gave him another warning, no doubt, saying, "You want to sit down for the rest of the game, my boy?" Just say one more thing. Look out. Nope. Mijatovic is playing very well, don't you think, on Canalia?
Yes, he is. I mean, Canalia has had that one break, which he very nearly turned into a goal. But other than that, the Washington defense has been playing very tightly indeed. The two centre-backs, Mijatovic and Draghi, are doing a good job. But you have to remember that the Cosmos, on the whole, are only playing with two people up front. DiBernardo, the third man, is coming back a lot.
Tommy O'Hara fighting for the ball. Got it to Mijatovic. Now it comes over to Johan Cruyff with only 20 seconds left in the first half. If there's a shot, this will be the last one. Here comes
Horvath completely on his own.
Green is in the middle. Here it goes towards Alan Green and up and over the goal.
Well, I think that was Jeff Durgan who got to that ball first that time, and then good job he did, or that was another goal chance for the Cosmos. But again, Horvath completely on his own, put through by a lovely pass from Cruyff and one of those curling centres from his left foot.
Unofficially, the half is over, and there is the whistle. That's it. The first half ends. A sensational first half of soccer. Beautiful play. The score, Washington 1, the New York Cosmos 0. The crowd of it to go. Here in Washington, the Diplomats lead the New York Cosmos by a score of 1-0. This is Jim McKay with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist, and there's bad news for Washington. Johan Cruyff, the great one, will not play the second half. He re-injured a knee that's been giving him problems all this season. He is simply not able to play in the second half. There's no chance he can come back in. Remember, in soccer, once you're out of the game, you're out of the game for the day. Vern Lundquist trying to get Johan Cruyff for us if he possibly can. Now, substituting for Cruyff will be Gary Darrell. He is the only original member of the Washington Diplomats. He was team captain for 3 seasons. Played the first 2 games this year, but has only played 1 game since, and that as a substitute. He's a citizen of Bermuda. There he is, 33 years old, 5'9", 160 pounds. We have one more highlight we're going to try to show you before the second half begins. If we can take a look at that now, it was the near goal by Giorgio Canalia. Here he comes.
A highlight at the other end this time. Canalia put through all on his own by a lovely pass from Romero, taking on the defense on his own, and you're going to move inside the fullback here, which I think is Mijatovic, past him, and a right-footed blast, which, as you can see, Irwin slightly leaning the other way, has to save with his foot.
And there is Giorgio Canalia, hair neatly recombed for the second half. He likes to talk it up, too. This also was in the first half. Johan Cruyff getting a yellow card from the referee for dissent, as they call it.
One of many to add to his collection. But that was after Cruyff got his injury, and I'm sure that was when Cruyff knew that he wasn't going to come on for the second half, and he's very calculating about these things.
Well, this is a big day, an important day for the Washington Diplomats. They must look good in front of their home fans if they're going to build their following here, because they've got a lot of people out here, in addition to national television, of course, and they are, in fact, leading 1-0 with 1 half to go. Here come the Cosmos, right to left this time as they switch ends of the field. Cosmos in blue, the Washington Diplomats in their home whites. Their colors red and white. Over towards Beckenbauer. And stolen for Washington. Mark Antonio was the man who got the ball momentarily. Johan Cruyff, we're told, is in the shower, and we may have a word with him when he comes back out again. But he will not play in the second half.
Checking over the Cosmos team, Jim, and I see no substitutions there at all. So the only change, in fact, is the enforced one of Cruyff's injury, with Gary Darrell taking his place. Now Darrell is not, obviously, the player that Cruyff is. He's not the offensive type player that Cruyff is. So I think that might mark a slightly more defensive disposition from Washington in the second half.
Askew losing the ball to DiBernardo. 2 Americans going at it. That'll be a free kick for the Cosmos.
The shirt-swapping routine in soccer takes place at the end of the game. I think Askew was trying to rip DiBernardo's shirt off him in the middle of the second half.
Can't do that. It's not gentlemanly. It's a game for gentlemen, isn't it? Most of the time. Beckenbauer with a lofty pass to Romero's head. Irwin tosses it out to Horvath on the flank on the left side. 1-0 Washington. Long way to go. Washington, Alan Green now, hit from behind by Naskins, but he says play on, says the referee.
Alan Green is not going to go away from this game with too high an opinion of referee Torres Gabrichin, I think, because he's been decked 3 or 4 times, and the referee's just contemptuously looked at him and waved play on.
You have to be tough to play this game of soccer, because Green, as you say, has been knocked down time and again today, and knocked down hard, sometimes from the rear. And Alan Green only weighs 145 pounds. Whoops.
Oh, dear. terrible miss kick by Yarushi there as that ball came across, and he was very lucky to get away with that. It came so quickly to Canaglia that, of course, he didn't have time to react to it, but there was a chance there.
Corner kick for the Cosmos, their first of the afternoon. That's an unusual statistic. Okay, there it is. Naskins went for it, but it was not over the end line, I believe, by Washington. I think we'll get another corner kick. Yep. Bogicevic will take it.
Well, that was an example of what we call a near-post corner. The ball was played into the post nearest to where the corner was taken from. Naskins got to it, was supposed to flick it over his head, but of course it was too low for him to do that.
Canaglia in the middle and headed away by Horvath. Ricky Davis going for it for New York. Kicks it back to Eskandarian. Eskandarian now with the ball at midfield. A lead pass down towards Romero, but O'Hara got in front of him very nicely. You couldn't call it obstruction.
No, that was a very nice, clean piece of play by O'Hara. He got from the right side of the player all the time, and Romero was never going to get to that ball.
All right, now the Cosmos, Franz Beckenbauer. He's got Durgan there, but he lost the ball almost. Darrell almost had a shot.
Darrell should be the freshest player on the field at the moment, anyway.
Cosmos have been on the attack so far in this half, but they look a little uncertain, a little unorganized. Here they come now.
Building up very slowly, as indeed has been their custom, and to many people has been their problem.
Pass from Alberto towards Canaglia. Headed by Yarushi. Headed again by Mijatovic, who is marking or guarding Canaglia and over the sideline.
It's a very unnecessary foul by Askew on Davis there. The ball was going to go out, but Askew has given away a free kick instead of a throw-in.
Next week, the Tampa Bay Rowdies against the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Same time, same station, 2 o'clock Eastern Pacific, 1 o'clock Central. Should be a great game. And the header by Romero. He's got the ball again into the net, but there was a whistle. He said it was over the corner, over the end line, so it'll be a corner kick for New York. So, another disallowed apparent goal.
Yeah, well, bogey with the free kick that Askew so wantonly gave away, and you can see that ball was over the line, evidently last played by a defender. So it is a corner kick to the Cosmos. From the other side this time, Bogey traipses all the way over there to take this one.
This field is 75 yards wide, 110 yards long. A lot of ground to cover. That'll be a goal kick for New York as it went up and over the top. Washington, 1-0.
Howard!
Back again in Washington. Diplomats still leading the New York Cosmos 1-0. The action is live. Hot afternoon. 105 on the field. They tell us by a thermometer down there. There's Canaglia going for the ball. Kicked away again by Mijatovic, but the Cosmos maintain possession. Little Romero to Beckenbauer. And now Mark Antonio takes over and gives it out to Horvath for Washington. Crowd having a glorious time here as their team is leading on a penalty kick in the first half by Bob Yarushi. Now goalie Bill Irwin. Will he distribute it out or will he go to the long punt?
Looks like to sit on it for half an hour. He's in no hurry to get it back into play. This looks like a long punt. There's a drop kick, actually.
Yep, an old-fashioned drop kick and a long one. He really boots the ball. Quickly on the field to Verne.
Okay, Jim, you can see by the thermometer, it's 106 right now on the field. A little warm, and no wonder these players are beginning to drag just a little bit. 106 right down here on the field.
Report from our own weatherman. A pass from Romero is knocked away by Mijatovic. As the Cosmos continue to attack, they trail by 1-0. Canaglia's got the ball. That could be trouble, but down he goes, trying to draw the foul. They don't call it. Sonny Askew has it for Washington.
A lot of trouble there for Washington.
Here goes Alan Green. He's got the ball with 2 men between him and the goal. Now Gary Darrell coming down, but Green takes the shot over the end line. It'll be a corner kick for the Diplomats. A constant war here in Washington.
Rather a disjointed move that. In fact, Green seemed to me to have an opportunity to put the ball in the middle to Darrell, who was running free on his right, and Green hesitated and finally took what was not really a very good shot.
Sonny Askew setting up for the corner kick. Normally it's Horvath. I think he's just waiting for Joe to get over there.
Either that or they're going to play it short.
It's a little play. Play it into Horvath. Back to Sonny. Little set play. Now into the middle towards Alan Green. He heads it, but in the wrong direction. Romero brings it down. A little thigh trap. Now Beckenbauer for the Cosmos. 1-0. Washington leading. And there goes Gary Darrell over the sideline. 37 minutes, 30 seconds left in the regular time of this game. If it's a tie, remember, in this league, there are no tie games. We go to overtime, and if that doesn't work, we have a shootout. That's a long way off, though.
I'm seeing very definite evidence of signs of tiredness on both sides here.
Dennis Weissweiler, the Cosmos coach, 62 years old, one of the great minds in the game. But he can't play for him. They're going to have to do that. Horvath kicked it right into Naskins. Gary Darrell, the substitute for Johan Cruyff, moving it over to Tommy O'Hara. Now back to Mark Antonio. Mark Antonio free by himself. He's got Green in the middle, and only Green. Askew coming down the far side, goes over to Askew, and the boot over the edge. Sonny's a good shot, but he slid on the grass that time. It is natural turf here, by the way. 1-0 Washington. 36 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in regular time. Washington leading New York 1-0 at RFK Stadium in Washington. Take a look at the crowd. As we say, no official attendance yet, although we will get it before the game is over. But it is estimated at about 50,000 people. The largest crowd they've ever had here before was 5 years ago for a Cosmos game, and that was just over 35,000. They've broken their own record probably by a good 15,000, and that in competition with the big golf tournament in Washington this weekend. Down goes Sonny Askew, and that'll be a free kick for Washington. Very quickly put into play, comes to Wim Janssen, number 12. He leads it towards Alan Green, and that's offside, called against Green. And so it appeared to be. Wide World of Sports, remember, coming up over most of these ABC stations right after the soccer game today. Another soccer game next Sunday, same time, same station, remember, on ABC. Tampa Bay at Fort Lauderdale, battling for the lead in their division, and there is a lot of bad blood between those two teams, and sometimes the blood is literal. On Wide World of Sports today, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific, as Alberto brings the ball down. Let's see, moves it in towards Kanaya, but no, Mijatovic has it over the sideline. On Wide World today, USAC dirt car race from DuQuoin, Illinois. Some of the top drivers from last week's Indianapolis 500 in that. Chinese acrobats, and here it comes toward the middle again. The header by Kanaya, and it's in the goal. What are we calling it? I don't see any missed goal. I think it's a good goal.
I think it was a clean goal, a result of a cunning cross from Carlos Alberto, which sort of hung in the air there. And Romero and Canaglia both running in from the far side. Irwin really couldn't come out for that ball, stayed in, and Canaglia beat him. A goal in the sense that this is Carlos Alberto with this sort of curling, hanging cross. Now you see Canaglia is the first player, Romero behind him. Canaglia gets it and loops it just inside that far post. Here's Carlos Alberto with his free kick, spinning. There's Canaglia nearest, Romero behind him. Canaglia just heading almost behind him.
All right, and here comes Washington. Carmine Mark Antonio with the ball. Again, Alan Green, as usual, is in the middle. And over the end line. So it's all tied up at 1-1. Washington and New York, and we now have 33 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in regulation time. Another corner kick for the Diplomats. Joe Horvath, as usual, taking it. The pass, the assist given to Angelo Di Bernardo and Alberto. On the goal by Giorgio Canaglia, the all-time leading scorer of the league. Carlos Alberto, again, as Paul said before, he's always in the right place, it seems. Alberto with the ball now. And may bring the Cosmos to life, but it certainly should also agitate the Diplomats a bit, perhaps. Cosmos winning the ball that time in the midfield contest. Giorgio Canaglia by himself into the middle, but there's nobody there. Well, suddenly little Romero appears. Another look at the goal by Canaglia.
There's Carlos Alberto's cross. We're looking at it from the great goalkeeper Irwin is seeing. Canaglia coming in, and there's that looping header just over his outstretched arm. A lovely dive by Irwin, but I'm afraid to know about it.
Okay, here come the Cosmos again, all tied at 1-1. Somebody's going to win it before the afternoon is out. Bogicevic with the ball. Bogi, the Yugoslav. Beautiful midfield player. Now to Johan Naskins. Here comes Joe Horvath with the ball for the Washington Diplomats. He's got Darrell on one side, Green in the middle, stays with it, takes a shot right into a defender. Well, you might well have passed that one off, and that incidentally is the 500th career goal for Giorgio Canaglia. Now that includes the games he played in Italy and exhibition games, all the games he has played since becoming a professional. So congratulations to Giorgio again. Here comes Romero. Across the field to Giorgio again. Sergio in the corner now has Romero close to him. Into the middle comes Bogicevic. Over on this side, DiBernardo, and Angelo misses it with his head. Sonny Askew takes it for Washington. Alan Green up at midfield now. Hit from behind by Jeff Durgan.
Sooner or later, I can't believe that Durgan isn't going to get a warning on this, because that one in particular was just flagrant. I didn't see him attempting to do anything else other than knock Green down there.
Jeff Durgan's a big kid, 6'1", 175, 18 years old, and just has been real pleasant surprise for New York this year. They didn't expect nearly the things of him that they've gotten so far.
Oh, he's had some marvelous games. His strength, though, unquestionably, to me, is in the air. He's not so happy when the ball is on the ground with the ball artist, and that's who he's facing, of course, in Alan Green this afternoon.
He made a great save in goal when the goalie was out of the goal in the first half. On a shot by Johan Cruyff, who is now out of the game, remember, because of an injury. So Washington will have to do it without him if they're going to do it. It's all tied now at 1-1. There's Horvath. Ooh, a little pushing and shoving out there. Cosmos have been on the attack almost constantly here in the second half, unlike the first half when Washington controlled the ball.
It seems that everything has to go down to this goal on our left here, because that was the direction of everything in the first half when the Diplomats were kicking in that direction.
All right, here they are again. Lofted pass toward Canaglia, but they let it go over the end line. It'll be a goal kick for Washington. There is Canaglia, who just tied it up a minute or two ago.
On our job, we use signs all the time. This means bunt.
Back again live at RFK Stadium, a tie game. Washington and New York 1-1 in the second half. Here come the Washington Diplomats. Again, Naskins was there to knock it away for the Cosmos. The Diplomats seem a little over-eager to take those shots ball rather than setting it up and passing up to somebody else.
Well,
there's Johan Cruyff.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. Johan, I know you must be terribly disappointed to have to sit out.
Yeah, well, I started already injured, like you knew. I didn't play last week, so we took a try today. Went well, first, let's say the first 20 minutes. And then when I took the ball away here from Carlos, I pulled it again.
Will it keep you out not only today, but next week, do you think?
I don't know, I have no idea. We just wait and see what the doctor says. And it's the only thing what we've got to wait for now.
Well, you gave it a heck of a go while you were in there.
Yeah, well, there are a few things which I don't understand too well either. One is that he takes away 2 penalty kicks here. He gave 1, but he took away 2. And I don't know the reason. And the goal why he disallowed that one, you know, no idea at all.
Well, they now say Alan Green was offside. But,
how's that possible offside?
Okay, thank you, Johan. All right, let's go back upstairs.
Here come the Cosmos again. DiBernardo with the ball for New York. In towards Canaglia, kicked away by Mijatovic. Bogey now to Franz Beckenbauer. The Kaiser, they call him sometimes. Alberto keeping control. Now Yarushi, who scored the only goal for Washington so far on a penalty kick, down to Joe Horvath. The big midfielder from Hungary by himself. Green moving into position. The shot by Horvath. Right foot, not his strongest shot. He's stronger from the other side, you could see that.
Yeah, I think he was trying to center that ball. Alan Green was over there waiting for it, but of course he played it much too near the goalkeeper, so there was no problem for Bergenmeyer to gather that.
All right, now Bogicevic. Gary Darrow marking Davis here. Carlos Alberto. Crowd quiet. They want to see the team in white get the ball, and so they do. Nope. Kick over the side. Towards the crowd. We have 27 minutes, 24 seconds left in the game. We're going to have a substitute. I think perhaps it's going to be, for the Cosmos. We're having young Cabañas coming in for Beckenbauer. Roberto Cabañas, number 19, age 19, 5 feet 9, 155 pounds, from Paraguay. As is young Julio Cesar Romero. Cabañas, a recent acquisition, has yet to play. I believe this is his first appearance in league play. He did play in the Challenge Cup,
he played in the Challenge Cup. He played against Vancouver. I thought didn't exactly sparkle in that game, and in fact was taken off by the coach. Obviously, he better do more running. Beckenbauer has not had an effective game at all. Has not done a lot of running, and has indeed looked rather slow in midfield.
Hasn't been in the game much at all, you're right. But Beckenbauer is gone for the day now. Cabañas in. Down towards Romero and headed away by Mijatovic once again, the big defender, number 11. Mijatovic came here from Rochester when the two Washington defenders were put out for the season. Here comes New York again, Bogey. And Irwin picks it up, the Washington goalie. It's tied at 1-1. So the winning goal has yet to be scored. Whoever's going to do it, they haven't done it yet. And down goes Green again. He's getting a little tired of it.
I cannot understand why Kabrichin does not give Durgan a warning on this.
A little mock applause toward the referee by Green. He says, well, you finally gave it to him. Ricky Davis knocked that one away. Over the sideline, a throw in for Washington to Sonny Askew from Wim Janssen. Askew back to Janssen, the Dutchman. Setting up Askew, who will probably center. Now he'll try the shot. 26 minutes left in the game.
Well, the referee says that was a corner kick. That must have been deflected as Sonny Askew kicked it.
Yeah. So Horvath will take yet another corner kick for Washington. Will be their 11th of the game to 3 for the Cosmos. They appeared to score on a header by Cruyff after a corner kick, but again, it was disallowed because of offside. Would have been Cruyff's first goal of the season. It was not to be. He would have loved it before this big home crowd here. Carlos Alberto talking it up.
Wondering exactly what Horvath is doing while he's preparing to take this corner kick over here. He seems to be entangled in some wires.
I don't know what's going on.
There's certainly, shall we say, a delay in the game, and Alan Green is going to take shelter in the only shade available behind the goalpost there.
All right. Horvath will take the corner kick. There it is, a good center. Headed away by Green. He didn't mean to head it away, but that's the way it turned out.
Well, Green trying, I think, to flick it over his head here.
Oh, and had some fists being flung. Naiskins, and who else was that? Who's that? Is it Horvath?
No, it's Draghi.
Johan Naiskins and Draghi, the young American.
Right, as that ball came over, flicked over his head by Alan Green, you'll see Draghi goes down under a pile of players and was sort of flattened into the ground. Well, you won't see it, but that is in fact what happened.
All right, the corner kick again, this time by Sonny Askew with the right foot. That's a nice center once again. Picked off by Birkenmeier, the goalie. He came out nicely. Throws it downfield, and Washington will put it in.
You see Draghi going down there, and the player landing boom, right on. You can feel that. And of course, when he tried to get up, he couldn't because the player was still on top of him.
Well, when he came up,
scuffle started.
When he came up swinging. As spirited young American athletes sometimes tend to do. Okay, there's Canalia with a lead pass back, and calling for a free kick, not for a penalty kick. It'll be a direct kick. And the man who was offended was young Cabañas, number 19.
Cabañas showing a bit of speed there, which of course is he's just come off the bench. I assume he should have speed on that.
23 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game as the Cosmos set up for a free kick. There's a good look from behind the goal. This will probably be some kind of a set play.
Bogicevic can hit the ball very hard, and Romero, the other player out there, can bend the ball, can curve the ball very well.
Okay, Naiskin takes the shot, and that was about 20 rows into the grandstand by Johan Naiskin. Maybe still a little angry.
Some guys.
We're back live in Washington. The New York Cosmos with the ball. Still tied with the Washington Diplomats at 1-1. 22 minutes, 30 seconds left in regular time. Goalie Irwin picks it up. Let's go down to Vern Lundquist.
Okay, Jim, I'm sitting with Franz Beckenbauer. Franz, you've got an ice pack on your thigh. What happened?
It happened 1 week ago when we played last Tuesday against Vancouver. You know, this tournament, transatlantic tournament. I pulled a muscle and I felt it the whole week. But, you know, a crowd like this and nice day, I want to play, but it was a mistake. I shouldn't play from the beginning.
Okay, Franz, thank you very much. We'll go back up.
Yeah, thank you.
So Beckenbauer, like Johan Cruyff, agreeing he probably shouldn't have played at all today. So New York again winning the battle for the ball. Just under 22 minutes remaining in regular time. 1-1. And right at Irwin again. Boy, he can kick that ball about as far as anybody in the NFL. That was one of his easier ones, well up past midfield. course, that's not always what you want to do. Bogey saying, hands off, I'm clean. Now to Alan Green. Durgan still right in back of him, a good 2 inches in back of him. Hasn't let him go all day. Okay. Washington, Darrell getting it over to Askew. Sonny could have a good shot here. Here comes Sonny Askew. Still moving in. Still moving in. Oh, and a shot by Horvath from the left. Was knocked away by Little Romero. No, excuse me, yes, by Eskandarian, I should say. Right there, number 2.
Askew puts through a beautiful ball from Darrell that Askew picks up here, gets round Ricky Davis, and finished with a shot.
Okay, we'll go back to that right now. We don't want to miss anything in the live action. 1-1, 20 minutes, 45 seconds left in regulation time. Horvath preparing for the free kick. Washington's had 14 shots, New York only 7, but it's tied. There's another setter. It's toward Gary Darrell. Now Yarushi shooting, and the goalie saves it. Birkenmeier smothering the ball. Let's take that other look again.
Let's take a look at Askew again. This time he gets round Ricky Davis. Now he decides not to shoot. He pulls it away. There's his shot, which is blocked. And I think that's Horvath with that thunderous left foot running in from the left there, but Eskandarian there to block the shot. Another good chance for Washington.
Now a good chance perhaps for New York as they set it up in their end of the field. Over to Ricky Davis. He heads it back to Canaglia. Looks like Ricky might have had a shot himself if he had taken that ball down. However, Canaglia out in an unaccustomed place, the 35-yard line almost. Back to Bogey, and now Giorgio will go down to his accustomed home near the goal mouth. Carlos Alberto now coming up. Di Bernardo, the shot by Angelo. Not a strong one.
Well, it was a good quick run by Di Bernardo there, and of course, I think what prompted Carlos Alberto's pass was the fact that Di Bernardo ran so quickly into the space. Carlos Alberto delivered the ball immediately, and Bernardo, who was running at 90 degrees to the ball, got off that shot very well, but he didn't get enough on it.
The stadium here in Washington looks more like a Redskins home game than what they've gotten in the past for soccer. Here comes New York again, Romero. And Irwin has it. It's a 1-1 tie.
Where's Saldro?
Back again live. An indirect free kick has been awarded to Washington. Sonny Askew. Lost it towards the center. Headed away beautifully that time by Durgan. And here comes Di Bernardo all by himself. There are 2 defenders down here if they can get to him. Yep. There comes Drakey, number 19, with Di Bernardo now. The shot up and over, and it'll be a goal kick for Washington.
We're looking at Di Bernardo, who's sort of smiling and not worrying too much, but who we might be looking at is Canaglia, who looked absolutely disgusted when that shot from Di Bernardo came in, because obviously that was not a place to take a shot from. You've got to be very, very accurate to beat a goalkeeper from that angle, and Canaglia again was in the middle where he would have had a much better angle and a much better chance.
1-1 is the score. 17 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in regulation time. Robert Yarushi, who scored the only goal so far for Washington, gets it down to Alan Green, who is called offside again. And the ball will go over to New York. There's Alan Green. He's frustrated this afternoon. Young Durgan's been all over him. Sometimes perhaps a little too much all over him. Certainly Green feels that way.
Yeah, I think I feel that way too.
Here comes Green by himself. Again, he's offside. But remember, offside means he was offside at the time the ball was passed to him. It's okay if he is apparently offside when he receives the ball, but he was already offside when the ball was passed to him. Station break coming up here fairly soon. We would alert our stations around the country. Referee gets out of the middle there. As Bogey moves it in towards Little Romero. Back to the goalie. NASL Soccer, New York and Washington will continue after station identification.
Wednesday on
How would you like to help rebuild the fort at Fort Creve Coeur Park? The work is already underway, and you can...
16 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in regulation time on a hot, humid day in Washington. The score, all tie. Washington 1, New York 1. There will be a decision before we leave here. Because they're still tied at the end of regulation. Remember, it's sudden death overtime, and if that doesn't do it, the North American Soccer League invention, the shootout. However, long way to go before we get to that situation. Di Bernardo with the fight for the ball. Down he goes. It was Drakey who was on top of him that time. Cosmos now getting possession. Official attendance, here it comes. Listen to this. 53,351, an all-time record for Washington. That is just about absolute capacity. 53,351 today. So it's really a historic day for the sport in the city of Washington. Here comes New York.
Giorgio Canalia nearly had an unexpected goal there because Irwin came for the ball. He didn't quite get to it, and he played it right onto Canalia's heel. And I think maybe 6 inches nearer the goal.
Okay, a little give and go with Alan Green. He's got somebody else in the middle if he wants to pass it. No, wait a little too long. He's got Horvath in the middle now, but he gives it to Mark Antonio. Oh, a nothing shot by Mark Antonio unless it was supposed to be a pass. Still tied at 1-1.
Johnny Rutherford, winner of the 1980 Indianapolis.
More than 53,000 on hand as the Washington Diplomats battle the New York Cosmos at RFK Stadium in Washington. Official temperature 85, field temperature at our latest reading on a thermometer down there 106, humidity 61%, the score 1-1, New York and Washington. Just under 14 minutes to play. This is also the largest crowd to see any North American Soccer League game this year, any place, including New York. A man down on the field, Sarge will have injury time. Yellow card given to Naskin.
Megan does it again.
Well, referee Toros Kabrichian says that Johan Naskin there gave an elbow in the back of the head to Joe Horvath right here. Horvath has been down. Injury time was called. The clock was stopped. But now we're back in play with 13 minutes, 25 seconds left in regulation. The score tied 1-1. And here comes Angelo Di Bernardo. Canalia, of course, in the middle as always. And Romero moving down beside Canalia. He's got both of them in the middle. Puts it out to Bogey. Now the forwards are drawn out of the penalty area at the moment. Canalia moves just inside, and Mijatovic is there to take the ball away from him. Nicky Mijatovic. But he's not too good at keeping the ball. He's good at getting it. Oh! Wow! A near thing we had there. Offside called.
Well, another offside call, which really didn't look like an offside call to me, but Bill Irwin was out very quickly. Now, this is Bogey pushing the ball through. Well, in fact, there may be another player offside there.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think Romero, who ran through, was offside, but there was another player who was ahead of him there, Canalia possibly.
I think that was Cabañas this time.
Cabañas
who just came into the game in the second half.
This side of him.
Who was going to try to take the shot. Well, the constant roar from the big crowd continues. They want to see the white shirts score. As far as they're concerned, the guys in the white shirts are the good guys today. The home team Diplomats. It's 1-1 though. 12 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in regulation. The sun continuing to burn down on the field. Constant action, remember. No timeouts, no team timeouts. There's Cabañas, the 19-year-old. Remember, there are 2 teenagers from Paraguay in the Cosmos lineup. Don't get them confused. 19 is Cabañas, 7 is Romero. Now we have Carlos Alberto moving in, getting it to Romero, and he chips one toward the goal, but it's too high. He was trying to chip that right into the upper right-hand corner.
Trying to get it. He knew Bill Irwin was off his line there, and if he can spin that ball so that it drops, he has a goal there. You see how Bill Irwin had to go racing back for that. Incidentally, if viewers can hear a lot of very hoarse shouting from one person in particular when the play's down that end, the man you can hear is, in fact, Bill Irwin, the goalkeeper, who's constantly yelling instructions at his defenders.
11 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in regulation time. Still 1-1. If you've just joined us, the Cosmos in blue, Washington in 1. In white, Naskins now with the ball. Boy, he can go all day and all night. That's just what he's been doing. Tony Askew, however, this time comes up with the ball for Washington and gets it to Janssen. Janssen going for Green, and again he's offside.
Well, this time he was played offside by Durgan. Intelligent, rather risky, but it worked well. Moved by Durgan there as the ball was pushed through by Janssen. Durgan made no attempt to go with Green or go for the ball. He just moved up, and Green was caught offside.
You might explain what playing him offside mean. In other words, he intentionally moved up ahead of the other.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, right, there's Sonny, the kid from Baltimore, who's been very much in the action today, replacing Lozano, who is out because of a red card. Now we have Janssen going for Mark Antonio. Mark Antonio to Askew. Askew has Green in the middle if he wants him, if he can get to him. Romero knocking the ball away.
Askew, one turn too many there. Well, there's an interesting little episode there. Bogicevic is turning around to see what that was all about. And what it was all about was that man there, Mark Antonio, hanging onto the back of Bogicevic's shirt and being dragged along as though he was on a skateboard.
Pick him up, pick him up.
All right, the referee just says pick him up, get him on his feet.
I told him not to come. Pick him up.
Pick him up. This is a tough game. The referee is in charge. Only he can call injury time. Right now, he could decide that the game should go on with the man on the field.
Now you see Bogicevic breaking. Now on the right there is Carmine Marcantonio. He reaches out a hand here, grabs a large piece of shirt, and goes sliding along, rather as though he's surfboarding or whatever those things are that people do when they slide along.
That's called water skiing, Paul.
Yes, well, it's called a foul in soccer anyway.
Okay.
So.
If we've ever seen an obvious foul, that was it. There's Bogey, he who was offended. The score tied 1-1. We'll be back.
If you play as well as you talk, you can score a couple of goals over there and you win the game.
Well, did you hear that? That was the referee talking to Alan Green. He said, Green, you talk too much. If you scored as many goals as you talk, you'd win the game. So, a little battle of words out there. The yellow card could be coming out any time. Joe Horvat is coming out of the game. He's played all afternoon, and he's played hard. Coming into the game, replacing him is Ken Mokajoa, number 15.
Of course, he's noted for speed. Now, what they'll try and do with Mokajoa, without a doubt, is to spring him loose on this right wing, where he can simply outpace people.
Romero with the ball for New York with 9 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in regulation. The score tied 1-1. Oh, Cabañas to Canalla, and Irwin gets it. Canalla is still down.
He's got Urushi on top of him.
He's up on his feet now. Long punt downfield. Carlos Alberto knees it away to Romero, but now Washington getting control. Down towards Alan Green. He's offside again. And again, perhaps Durgan drew him offside.
That's that little scramble there where you can see Canalla going down, clutching his left shin. Robert Urushi sort of unceremoniously making sure that the ball didn't spring loose.
Well, you heard the lecture given to that man you were just looking at, Alan Green, by the referee, Toros Kabrician. Now Ricky Davis for New York. He hasn't been too much in the action in the second half. There it is to Davis again over the sideline. So we'll have a throw in. 8 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in regulation. 1-1 the score. There's Ken Mokajoa, who just came into the game replacing Horvat, number 15.
He started off over on this side of the field, but I see they've moved in very quickly over on the left side of the field.
Ken Mokajoa, 25-year-old South African. He's fairly big, 5'11", slender, 155 pounds. Limited action so far this year. He's only started one game and has been a substitute in 4.
And his first bit of action in this game consists of a handball.
He was the South African Player of the Year before he came up here. Here's the ball into the center, headed away by Mijatovic. Here's Alan Green giving it over to Mokajoa. Now we have the two forwards, Mokajoa and Green, coming down. And down the left side comes Gary Darrell, who also came in as a substitute. He substituted for Johan Cruyff. Now Mokajoa, two substitutes, very much in the action. Green is in the middle, and Mokajoa sees the ball go just over the end line. And he's still got Naskins with him. Boy, I'll tell you, Naskins has been in the middle of some pretty angry stuff today.
Well, when Naskins tackles people, they stay tackled for quite a while. I think Naskins sort of almost glued to him there. There they are. There's Naskins' tackle, and as you can see, he's still got his legs rigged. What am I trying to say? Legs wrapped around Mokajoa.
That's good enough. That's a good sentence. Good sentence. Not a foul call, however, but a corner kick for Washington. And it's picked up. There's a shot quickly by Draghi.
Wow. That was nearly a disastrous mistake by Romero. The corner kick was not a good one. It came straight to Romero, and instead of trapping it, he let it go loose. And it was a first-time volley by Draghi, which Berkemeyer had trouble seeing that. You could see how late he dived for that ball.
That was the 14th corner kick for Washington. New York's had only 3. But New York is in control of the ball now. Tied at 1-1 on a second-half goal by Giorgio Canaglia. They have 6 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in regulation. A long afternoon for these ball players. Under a broiling Washington sun, here's Ricky Davis. Moving it towards the middle, kicked away by Mark Antonio. And a throw in for the Cosmos. Largest North American Soccer League crowd of the year, more than 53,000 in RFK Stadium. There's Janssen getting it to Mokajoa. Down in the middle, he's got Green.
Speed here.
Boy, he is fast. He is really fast. Here comes Mokajoa in towards Green. Knocked away.
That time I think it was Carlos Alberto who got the ball away, but you can see how useful that speed of Mokajoa is going to be if only they can put the ball in front of him with room to run. He's going to outpace everybody.
Well, they've got a good 6 minutes to do it. Here's the throw-in for Washington by Gary Darrell, the only original Diplomat left on the squad. A whistle.
I think pushing by Sonny Askew. This is Mokajoa simply outpacing Naskins, taking the ball into the penalty area. Carlos Alberto running back there inside him, and in goes the ball, and you can see it beats the goalkeeper, but the trusty Carlos is there again.
Yes, he is. There's Irwin coming out and grabbing the ball from the on-rushing Cabañas.
Here we go.
Now Mokajoa again. He's got Gary Darrell down the left side ahead of him. Oh, and that was for Darrell, but Darrell didn't see it.
Well, he was offside anyway.
Yep.
The Cosmos are definitely playing an offside trap here, which means that they're allowing the players to run to the ball, and they're simply moving upfield, so the players find themselves isolated in an offside position.
Leaving, of course, the forward all by himself, should the ball get to him when he's not offside. Here comes Green all by himself. He's going to have a shot. And deflected by the goalie, but it goes in anyway. It started to spin over the end line, then took a reverse spin, but wait a minute. They're calling it.
I think
no goal.
The linesman says the goalkeeper was impeded as that ball came across. And I think if we've got a replay, I think we'll see pretty clearly that he was impeded.
Oh, now we got a little pushing and shoving going on.
That's amongst the Washington players.
Yeah.
There's the ball that sprang Alan Green loose. Now here comes Berkemeyer. Alan Green gets there first. He makes his shot. Now then, as that ball is bouncing there, that is evidently where the foul was called.
Well, certainly the goalie was not impeded by...
No, it wasn't the goalkeeper. It was Durgan who was pushed in an attempt to get to that ball.
Yeah, the goalkeeper was not impeded at all.
The goalkeeper was clean on that.
Well, that's the second goal disallowed today against Washington, and that was a tough one. But it certainly did appear that Durgan might have been taken down.
Well, we've still got a bit of a discussion going on with the linesman, of course, who made the call.
Yep. Fabio Rusci absolutely furious, beside himself. Woo! Now we got somebody down. Well, it's an official down.
Now, how he got on the floor.
I hope nobody hit him.
Well, I don't know why else he would be on the floor.
Oh, wait a minute. It was a fan. We are told that a fan rushed on the field and punched the linesman. That's really bad stuff.
It's really bad stuff for Washington because that could cost them the game, even if they win it.
That's right. The home team in soccer is responsible for the behavior not only of its team, but of its fans.
For security. This is Alan Green on his break again. Here he goes. He gets clear of everybody. Berkemeyer, the goalkeeper, will come into your picture on the right in a minute. You've got to come out. Alan Green gets it past him. Berkemeyer stumbling. There's the shot. Berkemeyer just tips it. Now two players. Durgan is the defender running for the ball here as they come in from the left there. And the story is that he was taken out of the play by the attacker there. I can't see who that is. I think it's Mokajoa.
I guess they would argue that Mokajoa was going for the ball with his head.
Yes.
Here's Alan Green, who thought he had a goal. Now it's linesman Gordon Arrowsmith, senior linesman, who was down.
There's the linesman, very much on his feet. Oh, he's hit on the head by a rock. A rock or a stone is thrown out of the crowd to hit him right on the head. And believe me, that is very bad news for Washington.
It is the very cheapest thing that somebody can do as a spectator at a game. And I must say that the North American Soccer League generally has been remarkably free of that. A lot of this happens in Europe.
It's the first time I've ever seen it.
But very, very seldom do you get that kind of bad sportsmanship from the people who attend games in this country. It's absolutely true.
Well, it is such a shame.
There's Arrowsmith with some ice on his head.
Let's see what Berkemeyer thought of this last play. Here he sees Green coming towards him, and he's got to go out to meet him. Here he comes to meet him. Green is going to push the ball past him, and in fact he's beaten on this play. And as Green shoots, Berkemeyer just manages to get a little touch of that ball.
Now watch this. Watch right here as these two players will come into the picture.
Durgan running in here. Durgan running in. Mokajoa running in. The story is that the foul was on Durgan. Now, I think Washington have cause for complaint.
I do, too. I think he was going for the ball.
There wasn't much contact, and what there was legitimate.
Certainly looked like Mokajoa was going for the ball with his left foot.
I didn't see any intent on the part of Mokajoa to take Durgan out of the play there. But, of course, what happened while all that was going on was I think they both missed the ball, and it ran through into the goal.
Another look.
Here comes the ball from your left. Mokajoa going for the ball. The contact is very slight, and it's down at foot level.
He also put his hands up. It's as if he did not want to go into...
Well, I don't think he wants Durgan running into him, that's for sure.
Let's go down to Vern on the field. This is a tough scene here right now, unfortunately.
Okay, we've got Gordon Bradley. Gordon, you talked with Horace Cabrician. Why did he say the goal was disallowed?
He said that there was obstruction on the Diplomat players. The ball was going onto the net, obstruction against one of the Cosmos players. He said the linesman made the call, and he said it was a good call.
You obviously would disagree with it.
3 minutes and 53 seconds to go. I've got to disagree with it, yes.
Okay, Gordon, thank you. Jim?
Well, Gordon's got the time exactly right. It is 3 minutes and 53 seconds from the end of official time. Another look. The game still has not gotten underway again. Injury time for a linesman. Here's another look.
Judge for yourself as to whether you see... There is Durgan in blue. Now, in white from the right. Does that player there take Durgan out of the play, or is in fact the ball gone past him before any contact occurs, and how much contact was it? I would say it was a very debatable decision.
Now, Johan Cruyff has been ejected from the field, even though he's not in the game. And Joe Horvat, who also was not playing.
Horvat was certainly involved in the incident, that when you remarked at the beginning of it, we've got some pushing and shoving going on. It was the Diplomats' own players trying to push Horvat out of it. They didn't save him the problem of a red card, though.
There's Bob Yarushi. He is still in a hot state of temper out there on the playing field. That's the trainer trying to quiet him down. It is tough for Washington.
I'm amazed at how, if I can use the word, diplomatic about it, Gordon Bradley was.
Cruyff and Horvat both ejected from the playing field by referee Cabrician. But on that play, it appeared to me, Paul, first of all, that the Cosmo player, young Durgan, was in the air before any contact took place and was headed out over the end line. Also, it appeared that Mokajoa was going for the ball.
I agree with you entirely, and it also looked to me like the ball had gone past before the contact occurred.
Well, more physical contact immediately out on the field.
I hope that's not a sign of what we're going to get, because that was a very unnecessary tackle from Mahara on Cabañas there.
3.5 minutes to go. That's unofficial time, remember. Only the referee keeps the official time. Here come the Cosmos. The game is tied. It goes into Canalia. Taken by Yarushi. Back to the goalie Irwin. Now, can Washington turn their temper into successful aggression, or will it cost them?
They've certainly got enough noise behind them.
Listen to that noise. 53,000 people screaming. Over the sideline. We'll have a throw-in. Sonny Askew for Washington. Under 3 minutes now. Mark Antonio with the ball for the Diplomats. Lost it towards the other side. Mokajoa with a header that goes to the left of the goal.
Mokajoa not too far off with that header. Watched very calmly that ball by Birkenmeier, but I wonder if he wasn't watching it a little too calmly. There's the cross from Mark Antonio. Birkenmeier comes out, goes back. There's the header from Mokajoa. A foot and a half wide, maybe.
Okay. Carlos Alberto with the ball. Getting it down to DiBernardo. He's the left side forward for New York. He loses the ball to Washington. Sonny Askew now. Who has played all the way, of course. Most of the people here doing it. And they're calling a free kick for Washington. Not they. The referee. He is the only man in charge. The linesmen are simply advisors. But he's been taking their advice today, agreeing with all of their calls. Long one that Ricky Davis picks off. 1 minute, 50 seconds left in regulation time. Mokajoa with the ball. Slipped a little bit on the grass. Lost it to Ricky Davis. Now here come the Cosmos. It can still be won in regulation. 1 minute, 40 seconds left to go. Here comes Romero in the middle. Kicked away by Mark Antonio. Mokajoa, the speedster now, moves up past midfield. Sonny Askew in the middle. Green's moved over to the left this time. Mokajoa with the ball. Gives it out to Janssen. Let him distribute it. See who he finds, and again we have a whistle for offside on Green. An inordinate number of offsides against Alan Green.
Yeah, well, he's a very quick little player, and he likes to make those darting moves immediately the ball is played. If it works, of course, you're free at the defense, and he's managed that 3 or 4 times this afternoon.
It's looking very much like we'll go to sudden death overtime here. Exactly 1 minute left in the game. 1 minute to go in regulation time. There's Cabañas with the ball, the young substitute from Paraguay, and kicked it right into Draghi. Now, it looks like it'll be a corner kick for, no, a goal kick for Washington. Yeah, yep. Last touch, Cosmo. So they'll have one more shot with 38 seconds left in the game. When I say a shot, I mean one more opportunity to bring it downfield, but Irwin's taking his time. Maybe he'd just as soon go in and take his chances with sudden death. 25 seconds to go. The long punt downfield towards Sonny Askew, headed away by Eskandarian. Now we have 19 seconds left to play in regulation. Eskandarian moving it towards Cabañas, headed away by O'Hara. Mark Antonio now for Washington. And here comes Darrell. We've got 9 seconds, and there'll be no score in regulation. We're going to go to sudden death overtime. 4, 3, 2, that's unofficial time, of course. There's the whistle. And the game ends. There's Robert Yarushi, who scored the only goal so far for Washington. But we will go to sudden death overtime. And all of you at home, we hope you'll stay with us. The decision yet to be made. Washington 1, New York 1. Canalia's angry. Weisweiler's trying to keep himself in control, but everybody else is sore and hot, and on we go. Match between Washington and New York. That's the coach of the Cosmos you saw, Hennis Weisweiler. Biggest crowd of the year in the league. The temperature, brutal. It's 85 degree officially, but 106 on the playing field. Humidity, 61%. There you see a look at this tremendous crowd on a beautiful playing surface, by the way. It's real grass, drains very quickly, and has a very low crown, if any, in the middle, so there are no funny bounces out here. Okay, now we've had a lot of controversies in this game. The most recent, an apparent goal by Alan Green of Washington, but there's one of the fans looking on. You can see that he's perspiring a bit. As we go back again, let's see what we're going to see here, Paul.
Well, this is the thing that led to why this crowd, I don't think anybody's left the stadium, why they're all here, and why they're all making such a lot of noise, and why they're all so hot. This was a break in the clear by Alan Green. You can see him outpacing the whole defense. Now we're behind the goal. He's running towards the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper obviously has to come out to meet this. Here he comes to the right of your screen there. Alan Green begins to move the ball past him. The goalkeeper dives. Alan Green kicks the ball. It just strikes the goalkeeper's shoulder, goes up in the air, and now here comes a defender to try and clear the ball. In the blue, this is Durgan, and on his right, here comes Mokajoa to try and play it. Now then, the call is that Mokajoa fouled, in other words, made body contact with Durgan, which prevented him from clearing that ball. Our opinion here, or at least my opinion, I think you agree, Jim, is that the ball had already gone past Durgan when the contact was made, and that indeed the contact wasn't that bad.
I agree totally, and we have a couple of other expert pairs of eyes in the booth who just nodded, yep, you guys are right. However, the referee is the only one who makes the ruling.
Well, the linesman, in fact, called that, didn't he?
But the referee, of course, could overrule him.
The linesman called it. The referee could overrule him, did not, said it was a good call, and the linesman, unfortunately, suffered somewhat for that, because there was a big discussion centering around the linesman in the corner, and finally somebody threw a stone which bounced off the linesman's head and knocked him to the ground, which could be very, very costly indeed for Washington if they win this game, because I imagine it would be appealed.
Giorgio Canalia having a little conference with the officials out there. I don't know whether he's complaining or agreeing, oh yes, you guys made a really good call on that.
Well, this is the goal with which the Cosmos tied it up. A ball from Carlos Alberto going in, up goes Canalia, and a sort of looping header. Irwin on his line, dives, but of course he's too late to get that because it was so beautifully positioned, just under the bar and just inside the post.
Well, it looks like it'll be the 6 o'clock shuttle for us, Paul, not the 5.
Well, I was on the 5:30 anyway, actually.
Well, you always are more foresighted than I.
That's right.
There's Weisweiler, the coach, prowling the sidelines a bit, a bearish man at age 62, a very successful coach in Germany. There's Yarushi, whose temper, well, I was going to say almost got the better of him. It did get the better of him, but his teammates kept fending him off.
Yes, he was being pushed away from everybody inside, but even a good, I would think 5 minutes after that incident, he was still steaming about it.
Incidentally, Joe Horvat was thrown out of the game with a red card, even though he was not playing at the time. He got a red card, and that means he will have to sit out the next home game here, which is against Fort Lauderdale on June 15th. Now, Fife was given a second yellow card and ejected from the game, but 2 yellows, although a red they make for ejection purposes, do not make you sit out the next home game.
No, not so necessarily, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a point system that goes in there, too, but that's too complicated to go into right now. We're going to take a break here. before the first 7.5-minute sudden death overtime period. It's 1-1. The exciting spring continues for us at ABC Sports. There's Larry Hulser, young American. Apparently he's going to come into the game replacing Naskins. Yes, there's Naskins on the bench for the New York Cosmos. He's gone all the way today and has been very much in the game. No question of that.
Well, that's the thing that surprises me. I think I said at the beginning of the game there was one man who would last throughout the heat. It was Naskins. And now, of course, he's one of the only 2 substitutes that have been made by the Cosmos. Hulser, I'm very pleased to see playing. He's a young American. He played a lot last year for Los Angeles. He has not played at all so far for New York, so it's a big chance for him.
Well, I hope you've been with us all spring, not only on soccer. We've really had some things. The Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Indianapolis 500, a soccer game like this, Monday Night Baseball starting tomorrow night, and the U.S. Open coming up at Baldwin. Really some season. Well, 7.5 minutes each way if we go that far. In other words, it's sudden death. First goal, and it's all over. Should we go through the 2 sudden death periods and there's no score, then we go to the shootout. 1-1. So Larry Hulser for Johan Naskins. Hulser came, like DiBernardo, in a trade over the winter from Los Angeles. 2 young Americans coming to New York. Cosmos play a lot of Americans. And Larry Hulser immediately gets the ball. As a matter of fact, number 12. Larry Hulser out of St. Louis, which of course is a hotbed of soccer in the United States. Although oddly, at the moment at least, they don't have a team in the North American Soccer League. But at the... Will the strategy of this game change any with the sudden death situation, Paul?
Well, the funny thing is that it may become slightly more cautious because, of course, the last thing you want to do in a sudden death situation is to make a mistake. Because if you do make a mistake and it costs you a goal, the game is over.
Okay, free kick for the Cosmos in the blue, Diplomats in the white if you've just joined us. Earlier here we had a linesman, not a player, a linesman down on the field. There is the ship kick, a nice... lovely touch by Alberto, and a whistle.
A very quick whistle there. Yeah. Romero in on the goalkeeper, making contact with the goalkeeper, Irwin, as he went up, and a very quick whistle from referee Kubrichin, who doesn't want any more trouble.
Precise word on... Here, let's take another look at this first.
This is Bill Irwin getting ready. Here comes the cross. Out goes Bill Irwin. As he goes up, Romero comes in. There's the contact, very slight contact, but immediate whistle from Kubrichin, who doesn't want any more trouble. He's had enough trouble for one afternoon.
The complete word on the linesman incident, by the way, is that the linesman was shoved by a fan who ran out of the stands and then hit by a big piece of ice. That's according to the security force here at RFK Stadium. Here comes Mokajoa, the speed merchant, all by himself. Couldn't quite get to it. A good save by Berkemeyer, but the goalie is down.
Berkemeyer made solid contact with Mokajoa's feet.
The goalie down on the field, and only now does the whistle go off to stop play.
Well, there was an example where Berkemeyer had to come out because Mokajoa's speed is such a threat, and in fact the 2 of them got to the ball at the same moment, and you'll see that it's Berkemeyer's head, I think, that comes into contact with Mokajoa's feet, or the other way around. Through he goes, chasing that ball. Out comes Berkemeyer to the right, and they both arrive at pretty well exactly the same moment. And while it's probably knee contact, I think Mokajoa's right knee hitting Berkemeyer on the head. Very solid blow. Well, we'll see what it feels like. We'll have some idea what it feels like from the goalkeeper's point of view. He's got to come out. He's running out. He's going to pounce on that ball. There he goes. Mokajoa, of course, keeps going. And we're a little bit hit by the post there, but it looks like Mokajoa's right knee made pretty hard contact with Berkemeyer's face there.
Certainly didn't look like an intentional.
Oh, nothing intentional about it at all, no.
David Bursich is the backup goalie for the Cosmos, an American, once again.
Another player from St. Louis, in fact.
Right, 21 years old, 23 years old, I should say, 6'2.5", 173 pounds. He'll water ski for you. You mentioned water skiing earlier, although you weren't sure what the sport was.
Oh, is that what I mentioned?
Yes, water skiing. No. You said that thing where they're towed along behind the boat. Wide World of Sports, remember, immediately following over these ABC stations from DeQuoin, Illinois, first USAC dirt car race of the season. They'll be going over 100 miles an hour. Some of the top drivers from last week's Indianapolis 500 will be there. Also, the Chinese acrobats of Taiwan, an event you've enjoyed before, and a review on George Willig's mountain climb of yesterday, on him rappelling down the mountain, which we did not see yesterday. We saw the climb up. We did not see the climb down. You'll see it on Wide World. There's David Bursich. As you said, out of St. Louis. He has not played so far in 1980 except for a half a game in the recent Transatlantic Challenge Cup. He has not played in the North American Soccer League. The first game he ever started last year was against New England. We televised that game. He had a shutout, 1-0 over the T-men. Plays in the U.S. Olympic team.
They seem, and I can understand it, they seem very reluctant to take Birkenmeier out. And of course, changing the goalkeeper at a crucial stage of the game like this is a very serious thing indeed. And Birkenmeier, I think, is going to stay in there. But he's holding his left arm.
Yeah. Let's take one more look, see if we can see the contact. I doubt it, but here we are.
Yeah, we can see, we can't see exactly where it is, but Birkenmeier seems to be holding his right.
Okay.
Holding his left side.
Back underway, Sonny Askew coming in, but it was headed away by Durgan, the big American defender. Over now to Escandarian, the fullback, overlapping. Getting it to Di Bernardo. Can he get it to Canaglia? Well, he doesn't try. To Bogey, stolen away by O'Hara for Washington. Down to Ken Mokajoa. Again, the man who can beat his man all by himself upon occasion. The man with him is Carlos Alberto. The shot picked up by the goalie.
Again, Birkenmeier having to come out doing the right thing there, because if he hadn't got his hand down to trap that ball, that was certainly in. Mokajoa put in the clear where he can use his speed, taking it past Carlos Alberto. There's the shot. And is that Birkenmeier's foot or his hand that saves that ball?
At any rate, we have 4 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first sudden death overtime. As there's Birkenmeier trying to rest himself a little. Look out for Canaglia, headed away by Mijatovic. Gotten back by Cabañas. The shot by Cabañas goes wide, a good 5 yards wide. A goal kick for Washington. 4 minutes, 15 seconds. There is, we saw the young Cabañas. What's interesting in the North American Soccer League this year is, particularly in this occasion today, there are many Americans in the play very much, and there are a lot of young players out there, including the Paraguayans.
The two Paraguayans must be the youngest players on the field, I would think.
Yeah, they are.
Americans tend to be about 20, 21, 22.
Well, Durgan's 18.
Yep, straight out of high school.
Yep. Philadelphia Fury won a game today. They beat the New England T-men. We just got that score by 5-2. Philadelphia over New England. Good races in almost all the divisions. Philadelphia needs a lot of wins right now. There's the free kick towards the goal. Headed away, but Washington's got it. Mokajoa with a weak shot that's way wide. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left in the first sudden death overtime. Durgan, in fact, is not only the youngest player in the game, he's younger than the young South American.
Yeah, he would.
And is, in fact, the youngest starter in the North American Soccer League right now. Okay, here come the Cosmos. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first sudden death. And there's young Hulser. Larry Hulser, who is 23 years old. And a free kick for home for the Cosmos. And quickly they put it into play. Romero getting it back to Bogicevic. Bogey there with the ball at midfield. Chips it over on the right side to Romero. Now Carlos Alberto. There are 4 men hanging around the penalty area. But Sonny Askew steals it away, and the home crowd likes that as he gets it to Alan Green. Green coming down now. It's been mostly Mokajoa in the overtime, but now Green still with the ball. He's got Yarushi moving in, and Birkenmeier picks it up. Yarushi scored the only goal for Washington so far, and a penalty kick in the first half. Only goal for New York by Giorgio Canaglia, the 500th of his total career. Canaglia way out here near the center line. Place he seldom visits. Now down to Di Bernardo, and he's onside. It's okay if he can get a shot over towards Cabañas, but way over his head. Mokajoa kicks it back, and boy, Ricky Davis took that, almost looked like he was going to take it in the face.
Well, he could have met it full force, but he tried to take something off it so that it would land near his forwards, and it really rocked his head back as he took it.
Okay, Romero now in the middle, and across to Cabañas, his fellow countryman, back towards Canaglia, but Mijatovic was there once again.
Wow.
Goal kick for Washington, and again...
Maybe a little more, a very silly move by O'Hara there, who actually, as I saw it, actually struck Cabañas on the back of the head. Cabañas was obstructing him, keeping him away from the ball.
Not a goal kick, but
you see Cabañas gets in front there of keeps him away from the ball, keeps him away, lets it run out because the definite attempt to strike there, even though an actual contact was made.
So as I say, a foul was called rather than a goal kick. 1 minute, as you see, just over 1 minute remaining in the first sudden death overtime. Each one 7.5 minutes long. Another one yet to come with the no score. Yarushi again, the overlapping fullback with a wide and high shot. No chance. Bob was very angry earlier, and we conjectured as to whether that anger would throw him off stride or whether he'd be able to channel it. Perhaps he isn't channeling it too well right now. Now we have 40 seconds unofficially left in the first of 2 sudden death overtimes. If no score eventuates, we will go to the shootout, headed away again by Mijatovic. He's had a long and productive afternoon against Giorgio Canaglia. Now Irwin, the goalie. He really talks it up out there, does Bill Irwin.
But he told me yesterday, I said, well, what happens if the player's all down the other end? He said, oh, I haven't got anybody to talk to. I talk to myself. But of course, the play hasn't all been down the other end by any means this afternoon. I don't think he's had any reason to talk to himself this afternoon.
Okay, Arushi is hollering for the ball, but it's a long kick down towards Mokajoa. He heads it momentarily, trying to trap it with his head, really, but couldn't do it, and we have a whistle. The score is 1-1, and that's the end of sudden death overtime. First one. Keyboard of the New York Cosmos. In the center, Coach Hennis Weisfowler. On the left, Terry Garbutt, assistant coach. And now over here, Gordon Bradley leaning forward with the red stripes on his shoulder, the coach of Washington. Here's the situation. We go to the second sudden death overtime. New York won, Washington won. A long afternoon before a record Washington crowd, largest crowd of the year in the entire North American Soccer League. It's almost 20,000 more than they've ever had before in Washington, more than 53,000. But now the Dips with fighting for the ball, but not getting it at the moment. A little battle between Mokajoa and Ricky Davis. And who are they going to give it to?
They're going to give it to
the Cosmos.
It's a free kick now. Davis doing something very stupid.
Free kick for Washington.
Kicking the ball away.
They have changed sides, and now remember, immediately following the soccer game, we will go immediately to ABC's Wide World of Sports over these ABC stations. Wide World of Sports immediately following the resolution of the soccer game. Tommy O'Hara chipping it into the middle. Green heads it further into the middle. Hulser takes it for the Cosmos. Here they come. They got 4 men coming down front. Up it goes to Canaglia. The second of sudden death overtime. Canaglia still with the ball. In towards the middle, and he had DiBernardo, but couldn't quite get it to him. DiBernardo would have had an excellent shot. And here come the Dips. That's Mijatovic in an unaccustomed offensive position. He's the defender who's been on Canaglia all day.
Determination in that run, though, because I didn't think he was going to get to that ball before the defender, but he just...
Mokajoa almost losing it, but not quite. To Mark Antonio. And then here it comes into Alan Green. Alan Green has a shot! Picked off by Birkenmeyer.
Great save by Birkenmeyer, because that ball, not only was that ball going in if he didn't, but if he'd even touched it out, Mokajoa would have put it in. That ball had to be caught. This is Alan Green going through, and he'll hook a right foot shot there. Now this ball has to be caught. It has to be held, because if he lets it go, Mokajoa is right there.
Here come the Cosmos. Romero, and a weak effort there. It's picked off. Canaglia shouting at somebody. 1-1, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 5:30 left in the second sudden death overtime. If this doesn't do it, we go to the shootout. Somebody will win the game. If you've just joined us, it's tremendous action. North American Soccer League. Here comes Mokajoa again for Washington. This could do it. The shot off the goalie over the end line. It'll be a corner kick for the Diplomats.
Birkenmeyer being called upon to make a marvelous save again, because Mokajoa just bulled his way through there, got past everybody, and again, if Birkenmeyer doesn't make the save, the game is over.
Again, the center for Washington. Comes out to New York. Bokicevic. 3 men coming downfield. We have Cabañas. There's Cabañas with the ball. DiBernardo down the middle now. Canaglia is not there. And the whistle.
Draghi.
Free kick for New York.
It's a handball by Draghi, and that really was about all he could do, because the little chip from Cabañas was over his head, and DiBernardo was going to get it. So Draghi knew he was outside the penalty area, committed the foul, the handball.
4 minutes, 30 seconds left unofficially in the second sudden death overtime. The wall put up by Washington.
Just about everybody in that wall, too.
Yeah. And it's Canaglia with the kick into the chest of one of the Diplomats. He gets it back, however. Takes a shot. No chance. Listen to the crowd. That's all you have to do here. to get an idea of what the mood is like at RFK Stadium. That's Darrell. Gary Darrell with the ball. Here he comes, the oldest of all the Diplomats. A shot by Green into the side of the net. A bundle of players down.
Unfortunately, too many Diplomat players in the same place at the same time. Darrell and Green getting in each other's way there. There must have been an opportunity there somewhere.
So stand by for Wide World of Sports. But meanwhile, if you just joined us, you're getting an indoctrination into North American Soccer League excitement. And boy, it's a good one today. Look out. That was almost trouble again. It was trouble already, but it was almost a goal. There you see it visually. Wide World of Sports coming right up. As soon as the game is over, and it can't go too much further, of course, because we now have 3 minutes, 15 seconds left in the second sudden death. After that, it's the shootout, in which 5 players from each team go one-on-one with the goalie. Whichever team scores the most in those 5 attempts wins the shootout. It's not the same as a penalty kick. In the shootout, the goalie is allowed to move. The player starts with the ball from the 35-yard line. All right, Larry Hulser now, a late game substitute for the Cosmos. Cosmos on the attack. Romero to Hulser. Cross field, headed back by Yarushi to his goalie.
Good play by Yarushi. And Yarushi, having made that play, is now way upfield. Oh, unfortunately, the ball's been given away again. Here come the Cosmos again.
Yes, here they come. Angelo Di Bernardo. And they're still got it. Here's Canaglia. He's the big danger. Di Bernardo's in the middle. Cabañas over on this side. O'Hara taking it away. Off Askew, his own man, so Cosmos get it back. In again to Cabañas. Cabañas has a good shot with either foot, but he loses it. Romero. And a shot by Di Bernardo is wide. Bobby Stokes, by the way, is into the game for the Washington Diplomats. He is a forward. And a good shot. He's number 25.
Di Bernardo limping a bit. I think he's being escorted to the sideline, in fact. Now, whether that means he's going off or not. Of course, at this stage of the game, the coach starts to think about substitutions and putting players in who are good in the shootout, because it looks as though that's the way this game is going to go.
Yes, it's Mark Liverich, number 14, coming into the game, 26-year-old forward, born in Yugoslavia, but now a United States citizen.
Very happy, Mark Liverich. He has not been too happy so far this season because Di Bernardo has stolen his place.
Di Bernardo on the bench now, and his long day is done. But not so for the men on the field. On it goes with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the second sudden death overtime. The score tied at 1-1. Getting closer and closer to the shootout. But here's Cabañas, the Cosmos on the attack. Canaglia, always dangerous, but guarded beautifully today by Nicky Mijatovic, the big, burly fullback for Washington. Now Mokojoa going for the ball. A whistle. It'll be Cosmos. Free kick. The Cosmos have been in 2 shootouts so far this year. They've won them both, should we get to that. Washington's been in 2 shootouts, and they lost them both.
In fact, it seems to me, I think last year's game was decided on a shootout between these 2 teams.
Yes, in fact, the Cosmos won both games, the shootouts last year. So they really go at it when they get together.
Ask our statistical person here. Was it last year's game between these 2 teams decided on a shootout?
Yes, both games last year.
Games, yeah.
Statistical person named Peter Rucco.
Yeah, sorry, Peter.
That's all right. 45 seconds left, but looking more and more like the shootout. Wide World coming up right after the game. Headed away by Yarushi, again a whistle.
Of course, if it is a shootout, then Hubert Birkenmeier, who's really saved the Cosmos, I think 3 times by my counting in this overtime period, is going to be called upon to save them all over again.
25 seconds left, that's all. Washington with the ball. Mark Antonio to Mokojoa, look out! Off the goalkeeper! The Cosmos with the ball, 15 seconds. They could get another shot. Here's Larry Hulser at midfield. He's got Canaglia hollering for the ball. Away, knocked away by Mijatovic yet again. Kick way back over not over the end line, but to the goalie, and that's it. We're going to go to the shootout. The Let's have a look at the last save by
Berkemar's final opportunity, and this time once again, because Mokojoa, you see, is getting the ball free, and he's going to get off his shot, but his shot is immediately smothered by Berkemar, right on top of the ball. And considering that he was shaken up barely 5 minutes ago, that's quite a remarkable play.
All right, let's make it crystal clear. It's not over yet. We're going to go to the shootout, and you will see it live here at RFK Stadium in Washington. The crowd, 53,000 and more. Wide World of Sports, still to come this afternoon. Standing by at our studio in New York, Frank Gifford. Frank, how do you like this? Let's go to him.
Jim, I've been watching. It is really a barn burner going on. The shootout coming up, and of course,
Frank, here we are live again before the 53,000 and more in RFK Stadium. Now, here's how the shootout works. Each coach must select 5 of his players and put them in a list in the order in which they will shoot and present it to the referee. Each of those 5 players takes a shot, the teams alternating. If at the end of 5, one team has scored on more of those attempts than the other, it's all over. If they haven't, then you go to 1 player apiece for each team. It'll look very much on the scoreboard like extra innings in baseball. And as soon as one team goes ahead, then the shootout will be over. At the moment, a brief intermission before the shootout begins. It's been an afternoon of great joy for Washington management, seeing the crowd here, but of great frustration for the Washington team, which has played awfully well and has had at least 2 goals taken away from them that could have gone the other way. One certainly looked like it should have gone the other way.
Yeah, I must say, Jim, I'm a little disappointed in a way that the game wasn't resolved in regulation time or overtime, because I think certainly Washington had the chances to put it away, and they must feel awfully upset that they weren't able to do it. Now we go to the shootout, and frankly, at this point, you can forget about what's happened before. This is anybody's game now. This is a momentary thing. Each 5 seconds that comes along that the player has to put the ball into the net, that can decide the game. You can forget about what these teams did for 90 minutes plus those 15 minutes of overtime.
There's Johan Cruyff. He still won't go home. They threw him out of the game, but he's sitting in the stands.
I'm a little puzzled as to why he's not on the bench, is he?
I don't think so. Let's go down to Byrne on the field.
Okay, Jim, I'm standing with a very tired Giorgio Canaglia. You look a little bushed.
I think everybody was tired. It was, 100 degrees on the field. All the players, they give their best. It wasn't a nice game, but, what can you do?
Do you feel, Giorgio, in any sense, fortunate to be in the shootout? Do you think Washington may have outplayed you today?
Washington had the better opportunities. We are a little bit fortunate today.
Once again, we're at that point where the league's leading scorer of all time is not going to participate in the shootout. Is that correct?
Well, I'm in the second round if you get the second round,
Okay, Giorgio, thank you. Let's go back to Jim and Paul.
That's true. Giorgio doesn't have much confidence in himself in the shootout, does he?
No, I think that's a very interesting point, because the fact of the matter is that the shootout is to some extent an artificial concoction, and a player who can score good goals and great goals, which Canaglia has scored during the normal course of the game, cannot necessarily do well in the shootout, and Giorgio knows this.
Let's say it straight out. You don't like the shootout.
I'm not too keen on it.
There are those who do, however, and of course the main idea is to resolve the issue.
Well, there's a man who's going to be instrumental in this, and of course he was hurt in the game, and in fact, as the overtime ended, he was holding an ice pack to his left arm.
Standing by for Wide World of Sports coming up next, right after the shootout. And as we said, the shootout will end within a matter of minutes. It can't go any longer. Then when one team gets ahead, after if it goes any more than 5. It can end sooner than that. Carlos Alberto, number 5, had a great shootout goal in the playoffs 2 years ago. An absolutely marvelous goal in a long, long game against Minnesota. Minnesota had killed the Cosmos in the first game out in Minneapolis. And then the Cosmos won the second game. They went to the so-called mini game, and then they went to sudden death. Then they went to a shootout. And it was the last man, Carlos Alberto here, who did a real fancy move where he bounced the ball off his knee and then
he has his own method of doing it, and that is that he flicks the ball up in the air and bounces it. Now, at that point, the goalkeeper has all sorts of problems, because if he comes running out, Carlos Alberto is going to lob it over his head. If he stays on his line, Carlos Alberto pushes it forward, picks his spot, and fires it past him. Not many players, though, have the confidence to do that.
All right, Carlos will start from the 35-yard line. He can do anything he wants within 5 seconds. There's a clock. You only get 5 seconds to shoot. The goalie can come out, can stay on the line, anything he wants. Not like a penalty kick. There is the clock, and watch it. He must shoot before it goes to 0. 5 attempts for each team. Whistling, booing, hooting, and hollering from the home crowd here.
Most of the booing in this instance, of course, is for the linesman who disallowed that apparently good Washington goal with a few minutes to go in regular time.
And now we got a problem with the clock. It was at 5. Now it's down to 0. Now it's back to 5. Shall we give it a shot, Carlos?
I think you'll see Carlos do the same thing that we've just been describing, I think he will flick the ball up in the air, and this will give Bill Irwin then has to decide whether to come out or stay put.
Okay, well, keeping on the ground so far, still on the ground. The shot, he missed it. He missed it, a good opportunity, and he missed it on the right.
Maybe he should have done what I thought, because I've never seen him miss doing the other one.
Nope. There it is. There's your scoreboard. Zip for New York. Washington with their first attempt, and it'll be fullback Tommy O'Hara taking that.
And statistically, I think, Jim, the number of these shots that are scored upon is something like 1 in 3. So don't expect to see every shot go in by any means.
Washington has not won a shootout so far this year. They sure like to win this one. Here comes Tommy O'Hara. Birkenmeyer's out. And the goalie saved it. Beautiful save. A bold save. Clock goes back to 5. The score 0-0 in the shootout. 1-1 in the game.
Birkenmeyer looking a little bit stiff there. But again, a save by the goalkeeper, yes, but misplayed by O'Hara, really. He simply ran the ball too far, almost into the goalkeeper's arms.
Is that clock upside down? Yeah, let's take a look. Okay. Now, here we have Romero. Julio Cesar Romero. You like Little Caesar for a nickname?
I prefer Julio Cesar.
Whatever you want.
There's some complaint from Bill Irwin about what's going on behind the goal down there. He doesn't...
yeah, he's having some words with the official.
He's trying to get the official to move people from behind the goal, I think.
Well, there is a chalk line behind which photographers and other extraneous people must stay.
And in front of which everybody is at the moment, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's some feet over it. All right, here comes Romero.
Romero trying Carlos Alberto's trick.
The teenager from Paraguay.
Nice.
And he missed. He missed on the left side.
Well, I think he was too late anyway. The problem was that he was trying to bounce the ball, and you'll notice that, in fact, it didn't bounce. It stayed down.
Vern, do you have any idea if you can hear me what Irwin is shouting about?
Jim, I'm on the Cosmos bench. I'm going to go down to the end zone. We do have a microphone down there. I'll see if I can find out.
Okay. The complaint we understand is that the Cosmos goalkeeper coach, Miguel de Lima, is behind the goal. Here comes Sonny Askew for Washington. And he missed. Very unusual to see this many misses in a row. Birkenmeyer's strategy so far is just to come out and fight him for the ball.
Exactly. It's just coming out and pressuring them to the point where they feel they must shoot. And in fact, at that point, of course, he's right on top of them, and they're shooting straight at him.
Now we have a defender coming out to take this shot, Eskandarian. Andranik Eskandarian. Nothing for either team. So, yeah, the clock's upside down. Sorry about that. And another save by Irwin.
Another case where the shot is made straight. I mean, I find it difficult to classify that as a save because the shot is made straight at the goalkeeper. And he's sliding. The ball hits his foot.
I don't want to point any fingers, but that's not our clock you're looking at. It's upside down. There's another look.
Well, we see Irwin. This is sort of Irwin's view as he comes out, and there's the shot straight at him.
And now listen to the crowd as Mark Antonio prepares to take the shot. No score for either team so far. 5 men to shoot all together. Here comes Carmine Mark Antonio, and it hit the post.
Well, you can't get any closer than that. This time he did have Birkenmeyer beat. He hit the post, and sometimes shots that hit the post go in. This one came straight out again. So we're still without a score in the shootout.
And here comes Mark Liberich, number 14. All right, Vern, what?
Jim, Miguel de Lima, you had the correct information. They just kicked him out from behind the goal. He was coaching Birkenmeyer, and Bill Irwin was justifiably upset.
Okay, again, the clock will be upside down, but you get the general idea. This is the 4th round of 5 rounds. Here comes Mark Liberich, and he misses on the right. Well, I'll tell you, the excitement here and the roaring of this crowd is such, I think it really, perhaps, has gotten to the players.
It may have done. Of course, tiredness, too, has a lot to do with this. Limbs are very heavy, and I think this is a rather slow-playing surface.
Now listen to the roar, because the man of the day, as far as the Washington fans are concerned, is about to take his shot, Alan Green.
And Alan Green,
frustrated time and again, had a goal taken away from him, had Jeff Durgan all over his back, and now he can put his team ahead in the shootout.
And he is the sort of player who is quick enough, I think, to get close enough to the goalkeeper, but still keep the ball away from him and take his shot.
If Washington is to win the day, he will be an appropriate man to do it. Here comes Alan Green. Out comes the goalkeeper. Here comes the shot. He has to do it, and he misses.
Well, he lost control of the ball at the critical moment. The ball seemed to stick, and he ran ahead of the ball. He had to go back for it, and by that time, of course, Birkenmeyer was all over him.
So the shootout remains scoreless, and here comes Vladislav Bogicevic, the Yugoslavian midfielder for the Cosmos. A man who seldom scores goals, except lately. He has scored 2 goals since Weisballer took over the team as coach, and here comes Bogi.
He's such a cool player, too. He is capable of chipping the ball over the goalkeeper.
And he scores! Washington down to their last shot now, or else they're going to lose it after a long, long afternoon before the biggest crowd they've ever seen at home.
And that's where you see there why Weisweiler is a little upset that Bogicevic doesn't take more shots, because he has a very powerful left-footed shot. He hit that at the goalkeeper, but it was simply too strong. It went straight underneath him.
Last chance, and look who it's going to be. Robert Yarusi, the Canadian who scored their only goal today on a penalty kick in the first half. The man who was so irate during the incident with the linesman and the disallowed goal. What it would mean to him to tie this up right now would be hard to explain to you. The Canadian against the German goalkeeper. This is it. Watch the clock. Here's the shot, and the Cosmos have won it. After 90 minutes of soccer, after 15 minutes of sudden death overtime, and after a shootout going to the last round, the New York Cosmos have again beaten the Washington Diplomats in an overtime shootout. A happy Hennes Weisballer there. What a day. We sure hope you'll be with us next week. And we got fans on the field, but they're getting them under control. Unfortunate incident here. Next week, remember, Tampa Bay at Fort Lauderdale. That will be a bitter rivalry. Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports. And I mean right now, travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. This has been an ABC Sports presentation.